Oh, ooh, ooh. What are we on? Caught the man sipping. He's back in the green room. We jump in the gun. We're fucking already out here. I see the submissions. You guys are fucking coming through. I see heavy hitters in the submissions. So we jumped the gun, went right into the fucking underground bunker, listening to it on the functions. But no, on the real, today we're doing things a little different. You know, we got producers all the time. We got OGs in the bass music game. And now I kind of wanted to shift to the people who make the things happen behind the scenes, who make things like butter behind the scenes. So we got a big label who's been really making their name for themselves this year. I know there's a lot more behind the scenes that went on when people weren't looking, you know, years and prep work and everyone doing their own solo journey. But we got some people who are really making them names for themselves this year, doing some big things online, doing some big things with management, big things with compilations, big things with, you know, affiliations, collaborations. So, you know, today let's wheel out our guests. Without further ado, let's get into some label related questions. Our man, Dariel from Electric Hawk. I hope I didn't butcher that, bro. I asked him 4 fucking times, and now I'm just getting in my head about it. All right, we're gonna fucking have him come out here, say his name right 3-4 times, maybe like the boogeyman, you know, and then it'll just stick in our heads. All right, Electric Hawk. That's the name we're gonna remember after tonight, though. Okay. All right, let's wheel him on out. Let's get to the man behind the mask. Here we go. Bro, oh my God, I see you sipping on a mimosa out there. You looking a little relaxed. Yes, cheers, bro. Yo, how am I butchering your name? How many times have I done this behind the scenes? At least, at least 3, 4, 5, 6 times, bro. Bro. I.
He was saying Darnell earlier. That sounds scary either way. I like that.
Yeah, you were saying it makes you sound a little bit more like tough or something, right? The last time I butchered it, before I did it online. So, you're saying it made you sound a little more tough, a little more intimidating. Maybe I was leaning into that. I want you to come in here with an aura, a presence. Let's go. Yeah. Nah, you're out here, you know, cheersing a mimosa. So, I don't know. It's the look is semi-intimidating, I'm gonna say. You know. Oh, you can't hear him. Hold on. What about now? What about now, my man?
You guys hear me? Checking. 1, 2.
That should be better. I reset the audio and everything. Sometimes, man, Twitch, it's just super sus sometimes. What about now? Okay, word. All right, I reset it again. I literally did the same thing that we do when we start off. I go through the motions and things go wrong. But hey, man, I don't know if I got to tell you about that. Is it the same way behind the scenes of running a label? You guys got to pick up a lot of slack, do a lot of the what can go wrong, making up for that kind of stuff.
That's part of the process. You gotta mess up a lot of times before you finally find that right flow and that right bag. So that's part of the process. You gotta be wrong and kind of figure out what are the wrong paths to find out what's the right way to go. So
Yeah, man. So how long have you been leading the pack in Electric Hawk? I know it's like a communal thing, but what exactly is your role in Electric Hawk, and how long have you been doing it?
I'm the founder and CEO of Electric Hawk. Basically, we started as a blog about 3 years ago. It was just me. We brought in a couple of people. I'd say like 2 years ago or so on the dot. We did like a radio show where it was just like we were doing mixes with like Mize, Super Future, Recno, Fryer, and a lot of artists that we work with today. And then we kind of expanded about literally like a year ago when we dropped our debut compilation album. We had like Super Future on it too, Mize as well, Fryer, and that was kind of like our kind of crown jewel to like present like, yo, like that we're in this for good, like we're trying to make moves, we want to be a record label, take us seriously. And since then it's just been a lot of experimentation, a lot of ups and downs, but I mean overall like it's been a great fucking year at least last year. So it's been a lot of growth.
Yeah, you guys, like, I know it's like so adverse to what the rest of the scene is feeling too. But have you guys, shown? I know you guys have shown like your stripes, especially right now too. I feel like you shine this year. But have you guys like? Did you guys plan for that? Did you guys actively try to move into this new kind of world, this new medium, or did that just kind of happen by chance?
Well, the thing is, I mean, like we were getting popularity online strictly. Like that's where we were kind of getting our all of our growth from. Like in general, like we weren't doing physical events. A lot of people kind of do it backwards. Like they do a lot of popping events, and then to the point where it spreads to other cities. We're kind of doing it the opposite way, where it's just like we were just building a community online and a following on our socials, to the point where we were hoping to get that to translate into physical events. Sometime by like last January, at the beginning of this year, we had like three festival takeovers planned. Like we had like shows at like full venues where we got to curate the whole lineup
Oh
plan.
shit!
Like all that was like set in stone, and then COVID happened, and now it's just like we're back to just like trying to focus, like back to the drawing board, like trying to figure out like, all right, what can we keep doing online without events like that we can keep going continuously. And that's when like stuff like Harmony Virtual Festival came up, and we were doing the virtual streaming events. And honestly, like it's so weird to say this, but like realistically, like COVID and this terrible pandemic like has been like a blessing in disguise for us, because if it weren't for Harmony Virtual Festival, we would, I guess, we would still be a lot more significantly smaller. But because of Harmony Virtual Festival and being able to have that online focused attention, we on like it feels like we just blew up at a 9-degree angle since in the last like 10 months because of
Definitely,
that.
yo,
So it's
definitely,
been a
man.
really wonderful ride, I think, this
You've,
last year.
in a couple different ways, I feel like too. You guys blew up in not only having a bunch of new fans too, but people trust your label and new collaborators too. Like you guys, doing some research today, I was like, oh, you guys are affiliated with the Grismas thing that's going on too. And I know he rated you when Notlo was playing during Harmony one time too, man. And that was dope. I know that made her night, and the visuals are always on point. But is it been more than Grizz? I mean, I'm sure you're working on a lot behind the scenes too. But has it been a lot more of collaborative efforts between people you might not have even thought to look into to work with?
Yeah, man. This past year, like even like before Harmony Festival, we were getting such a huge popularity on Twitter and getting so much attention just by being a blog and kind of developing those relationships and showing support for people that we just generally liked. And fostering like those connections leading up to Harmony Virtual Festival. That's when we kind of like solidified it. So now it's like all these artists that like we grew up listening to as a team, all these labels that like we looked up to, like Deadbeats and Wakan, like that we know them by like first name. Like we text them when we have
Yo,
like ideas or like anything. Like we're like they have like welcomed us in, and to the point where it's just like it's like it feels like a dream. Like honestly, like to have these kind of connections with people that we've looked up to for like so many years, being able to kind of have like some guidance from them, like people at the top who are like managing artists like Zed's Dead and Liquid Stranger, and just people at that level where it's just like it feels like really validating, almost like we're doing the right thing to have
yeah,
that kind of trust in the community and from leaders in the community that have been in the scene for like so many years. So
yeah. And that's definitely the big thing too. I feel like a lot of people this year have connected with the community in general, but in terms of like bigger collaborations and like future thinking, it's kind of I'm not too sure about that. I know Subtronic started his label and he's helping a bunch of like of our kind of artists, the bass music artists. But are you guys planning on expanding? I know a lot of your the heads of your staff are over here loving like house music and techno and kind of stuff. So are you guys trying to branch outward? Are you guys thinking of even outside of electronic music, or what is the intent with Electric Hawk in maybe a 5-year plan or something? What do you guys? It seems big. That's why I'm asking.
I mean, realistically, like right now, we have like almost like a six month plan, and then after that, we have like a goal in like 3 years. I guess the 6 month plan is we're working on a top secret project that's coming out very very soon. Should be really a lot of hype on socials here. I don't want to reveal too much about it, but the other thing that we're working on is kind of transitioning to an agency. So by that I mean like we want to start kind of taking this a little more seriously and diving into artist development and consultation, helping kind of these other blogs that like have been starting because of us, which that's also been
Oh,
a mind-blowing thing too, is like we get messages like every week like, yo, like I started this because like I saw what you guys were doing this year, and it just
damn.
feels like validating too. So but it's these kids that like, you know, like they started out, I started out not knowing what the hell I'm doing, and I still don't, honestly. And that's kind of what the music industry is, though. So it's
Yep.
like we want to, I guess, give all this knowledge that we've learned since we started to all these younger blogs, these younger labels, on how to kind of foster these development, these connections, how to build their resources, and how to actually build a community around their brand, and just really, you know, go into 2021 as leaders and not just, you know, a label or a blog that like works on itself. Like we want to be, you know, a light in this community. We want to be people that are making a really good example in the scene, and that's kind of the goal for the next year in particular. Is like we want to start, you know, making some moves but positively, and I guess building a reputation even stronger beyond just, you know, being a blog or a label. Like we want to be, you know, everyone's partner, people that everyone can look up to. um, in like 3 years, that's like something we're already working on at the moment. We are working on Harmony Festival. I've brought that up before on socials, but it's like it seems like
Ooh.
a really, you know, far-fetched dream, but it's like we're meeting people now who like have run like massive festivals themselves in like other parts of the world, and like they're willing to help us out now. And it's just like we're building that relationship, we're building that connection, and like they want to help us out along the way. So it's really cool that we're officially kind of like putting together the concepts and the groundwork for our very first physical festival, as crazy as that sounds. But that's what we're aiming to do in like 2 to 3 years. After that, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
No,
it's
that's crazy. A 3 year is good. No, even just me asking that, I'm like, fuck, I need to get on my 6 month, my 10 month. I need to put that up for this year, you know? Like I'm looking at mine. This is from last year. I haven't even looked at it, you know? It has it has physical festivals on the dream list, on the 3 year plan. I'm like, I don't even know if they're gonna happen. And they definitely didn't happen this year, so I gotta update it. But yeah, no, like you guys are always putting on some new artist. I mean, not even artist, new staffer, new. There's always like, oh, this new person's writing or interning. So I mean, is there a turnaround that you guys are aiming for? Is it to get as many people out into this industry as possible, or is it to grow like a solid team? Do you already have that solid team, and what you're trying to do is like that master program? What you're saying, like create all these good people in the scene, because that's fucking awesome too, man. I feel like
yeah.
the
I'm
scene lacks that.
like I said before, man. Like it's like this team started out with just me, and I was just blogging on WordPress. I didn't know what I was doing, and it kind of spread out to it's just like we want to do more. Like we want to do run a record label, and like now that we have a record label, we need people who are good at graphic design and making video content. We need people that are good at like having this networking skill of like reaching out and like talking to these managers and these artists. And then we have people that have to like do artist relations, where it's like once a month we have to check back with artists and see what they're doing. That's another really important thing that we want to do too, is we don't want to be a one and done label where you just release with us and it's just like, okay, see ya. Like it's super important that as a label we have that reputation where it's just like we are checking on you and we're trying to help you along the way. Like once you release with us, that's the number one rule, is like you are our fan like for life. Like it's just like whatever you do moving forward, I don't care what label it's on, I don't care if we're benefiting monetarily from it. Like you need to, we want you to tell us what you're doing because we want to help you out. And like
Yeah.
we need people to kind of back that, you know, operation as well. We have a marketing team now. There's like a marketing director, marketing manager. People have different ownership of like different socials: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and now soon TikTok. We got to pick that up. Um, Artist managers too. It's like we're trying to do everything. We even have like a director of PR, and like that's consists of like 4 different people where they're just sending out PRs to different blogs that we have relationships with, regarding our label releases or the managed artist roster that we have as well. So it's like everyone is like busting their ass individually in their own way, but we're also kind of cross training as well, to the point where it's just like this whole team is like a jack of trades. It's like everyone's building these skills to the point where it's just like we hit up these artists and these artists managers at like such a high level, and they're like, holy shit, like where did you guys come from? It's awesome. But in this process, like this, I don't know, this DA Electric Hawk would not be anything without the team that it has as well. So it's just like that's I'm happy with the kind of foundation we have now, and I'm happy with the leaders that we have now. It's definitely like the groundwork has been laid out already. We have our core team. Now it's just a matter of kind of fine tuning those operations and making sure that everything we do, like we're doing above and beyond. Like we're not just doing the bare minimum. We are absolutely crushing it at everything we do. Um, Realistically, it's like I want people on the team to kind of keep moving up. I want people on the team to keep learning more things. I want people on the team, if they were to ever leave Electric Hawk in the future, I want them to move to another super label, like go work for UMG or some shit, or like
Oh
Deadbeats.
yeah.
Like that's the goal. Is like everyone that touches Electric Hawk sees success.
Yeah, no, that's honestly a fire mo too, because I feel like it's really not, that um, popular in the scene for this to be the mo of people, especially labels, in such a scene that doesn't really have a a concrete future either. It's not like this is a tried and true method of making money. Like this is pretty brand new to being a mainstream thing, and I think that's brought a lot of people who are passionate and skilled, a lot more resources to it. And I don't know if that was your intent going into it, like you said, the WordPress thing. But you guys, you said you're a jack of all trades. I know some of y'all manage some things. I know some of y'all do graphic design. Is that something that you've looked out for over time, like trying to find things that fit the niche, or have people just kind of formed to what you guys have needed in doing it for so long? You know what I mean? You start to be self-reliant sometimes. So I feel like maybe if you delegated, you do this, you do that, or did it just kind of naturally fall in place?
We do delegate and we give ownership to different people on the team that have that specific role, like marketing director. Like we try and not overstep. Like Tate and her team, like we anything that comes to like scheduling posts on social media regarding like the specific times they want to post it, what kind of content that is, like we leave that to them because they own that and we trust them with that. But when it came from the beginning, where it's like we weren't all jack of all trades. Like there's a great example is like Nor. She is the label manager of the operations of Electric Hawk, but essentially it's like she wasn't like that before. Like she didn't know how to make videos, she wasn't that big into graphic design, and now it's like she makes custom graphic design artwork for all of our weekly releases. She makes the video premiere like promo content for a lot of our releases as well. Like it's things like that where a lot of people on the team, like they knew what they wanted to do, they wanted to step up, and we had goals in mind. Now we just needed to find people passionate enough to actually take the steps to learn this. So it's like ideally, like that's one thing that I talked about before too, with like Electric Hawk is like I'd rather bring in people on the team that are passionate and really fucking want to help artists and spread good music than and have little experience than bring in someone who has good experience and but doesn't really care about the vision. They're
Mm-hmm.
more so into it for themselves, because someone who has like actually like a hunger to help out artists and like promote good music, they're gonna learn far more than that last person. Like they're gonna step up way more. So
Definitely. Yeah, I mean it's like it's a more of a passion project too, and just happens to coincide with their career at that point too. And I feel like did you go to school for any of this kind of thing? Did you study any kind of business? I mean, you're the head of it now too, so I don't know if that's like delegated as well. If you are like majority, or like there's other people on the board or whatever. But did you study that? Are you currently studying like business and how to continue making this into like like I mean you're doing a great job of growing it too, so I could only imagine it's not stopping. It's not like, okay, we hit a nice stride, let's stay here. So I mean, are you studying like entrepreneurship and stuff like that, or you just kind of like man in the ship?
yep. I mean, yeah, I went to college, community college for a little bit. I wanted to go for like marketing. I ended up dropping out. Reason being is because that was like 4 years ago. I was running a different company, a startup company for like esports and gaming. And in a sense, I kind of played the same role. I had to
Mm,
like recruit a team of like 30 people as well and like kind
what?
of operate this website with like tens of thousands of people visiting every day. And it's just like to the point where I guess I had some experience, and that venture that I had before Electric Hawk, it showed me a lot of the failures that I needed to know before I got into Electric Hawk. Even though it's a completely different industry,
Yeah.
like I learned so much about leadership and I guess like management and just like things about just learning how to make content and stuff like that before I stepped into Electric Hawk. to
Yeah.
the point where everything for Electric Hawk came natural to me. Besides, like, I guess like just like how do you run a label, or how do you manage an artist? Like that was something that I had to learn, and I'm still learning every day. I still kind of touch up, and like I really like pull most of my like knowledge from like other managers and other label owners that I talk to really often. That's where I get most of my information on like how to grow and like what decisions should I make that are like hard or easy. So most of it is just trial and error that I've been doing with Electric Hawk. Honestly, I haven't gone to school for music business or anything.
Wow.
Should I? Maybe, but I feel like
Hey.
at this point, I want to put all my time into this.
Yeah.
So
It's the life experience that matters at the end of the day. You being the leader of that ship is definitely played a role in, even just moving it onto a different I guess a passion. It went from e-gaming to fucking to music, and that started off a blog, but then it kept growing. And was e-gaming was that like a hobby of yours, or I mean a passion of yours? Is it the same kind of thing where you like really engulfed in the whole scene? Were you into like different games, or oh nice, bro?
yeah, like it was a huge passion of mine. I mean, like I started that last company when I was 13, and I ran
Damn.
like it wasn't an actual LSC until I was like 18, but the brand was there on YouTube. Like we had like 50,000 subscribers on YouTube up until when I
Wow.
was like 18. Like, and then it still led on. We became incorporated and then led it until I was like 20, 21. After that, me and the other co-founder that I brought on to kind of help push the new website that we rolled out with the LLC was like him and I just butted heads a lot to the point where it was no longer a passionate thing. I guess we wanted different futures and different directions to the point where it was just like, we had the same passion, but like I was finding a new passion with Electric Hawk and I wanted more creative control. So I kind of split ways from there, and
Oh shit.
that's why we're here. So
Damn. So was there like other uh people that you kind of looked up to in that sense? Like I mean, or even in this sense, are there other labels that you kind of replicate that with too, or take some of the things that you learn with this and apply it to that? Like, was there people that one company that I could think of that's kind of transitioned from online blog to outside thing and label is like the Unts. So I mean, I don't know if there's more too. You're more deeply ingrained in it too, but was there more so learning and taking inspiration from the MLG kind of shit, or or like now the newer kind of the Unts, or whoever you guys are looking up to in the music scene?
it's now honestly, man. I mean, it's like the gaming stuff didn't really inspire me to do Electric Hawk. It was just like I was at a festival like Electric Forest, and I really wanted to do something in music, so I started a blog. Like that's just it was simple. It was easy to run by myself. I blogged like once every week, once every 2 weeks. Wasn't super active. As time went on, I did more writing, and then more people. I started shit posting on Twitter. That's where we got most of our following, and I kind of started figuring out like how does Twitter work and how does engagement work by just joking on there.
Yeah.
After that, it was just like people kept asking to join the team. Like they were just like, I want to be part of this, and they that's how the team grew. But like we didn't really transform into a label or artist management or a PR agency or artist development company. Like we didn't transform into that. It all happened very slowly and gradually because I mean, like I feel like it kind of stemmed from like the label part in particular. I was at Electric Forest 2018, and we had like a tiny ass takeover on the Panky Rank stage at their silent disco, and like we were so small still. We were like a tenth of the size that we are now then. So I was already like grateful to be on doing a takeover and like getting to pick my friends to play a 30-minute set on a silent disco stage at Electric Forest. Like I was stoked. But when I actually showed up to see my friends play that set, like they were happy, but I I kind of looked them in the face and I kind of realized I felt like I wasn't doing enough for them. Like I
Oh
wanted to see
shit.
them on the inside venue stage. I wanted to see them on the bigger stage. I want to see crowds of people watching them. Like I didn't want to. I didn't want the silent disco stuff in that moment. Like it was fun, but it felt like a reality check. Like we're not doing enough. We need to do more. So we got back from Electric Forest, and that's when In Harmony, the first debut compilation album, and the record label started to get into development. And after that, it was just like, well, we're a record label. We should start managing artists because we want to do more. So then we had to learn how to manage artists. And then we were like, well, we want to get our releases covered by blogs. a girl that joined our team who was a writer, and she's like, well, I know how to do PR. Now she's the director of PR,
Wow.
and stuff like that, where it's like we were learning so much to the point where other blogs and labels are coming to us asking for advice, and we're like, yeah, this is how you do it, and now we're turning into an agency at that point, and all this shit just evolved, and it felt like one big snowball, just getting bigger and bigger, all from the beginning passion of just wanting to do more for our community.
Yo, definitely, man, and I think that's what makes the most impact on the scene too. That's why it's nice to see it grow so big too, especially in such a short amount of time too, because usually it's like those things take time and you learn it from mistakes all the time, and you're fucking getting rid of this guy, and this guy was good for so long, but it sounds like you kind of went through that with your first LLC, and this one you learn from it. I'm definitely in the same way. There's a lot of things I've learned from like my past lives that I was like, all right, can't do that here, or I just
Yeah.
look at other people and I'm like, all right, I like this, I don't like that. So it's I don't know, man. It's been nice to see some of the good, well-intentioned things start to rise up, and I keep mentioning G Jones and stuff. He just seems like a real wholesome dude. It's just like those kind of people who just kind of stay, not even stay in their lane, because you've definitely tried out this, and that helps expand the whole scene too. But just keep the head down, stay humble, and stay working, man. And to be honest, like I almost feel ashamed. I didn't know there was like one head of the coop, I guess you call it, the nest. You know what I mean? I thought it was a communal thing, just based off of how I never even know who's talking on your Twitter, though. I think that maybe that's how you want it, though. I don't know.
Yeah, Electric Hawk. I mean, like we got our following. I'd say at least the initial following that we needed to start doing more off of like shitpost on Twitter, and like I used to troll and shitpost on my personal all the time, and like it would work a little bit, but like I wasn't getting very far with personal growth and branding. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't gonna be a fucking influencer or anything like that by making jokes. So I just started using that energy into putting it on the Electric Hawk Twitter, which because one thing that always bothered me a lot by other blogs that are kind of successful right now, is like they like post like just like very stiff, like just the headline and the caption, and I'm like, man, that's so boring. I'm not gonna click on your article.
Yeah.
So I started taking a different unorthodox approach and just being more human on Electric Hawk and just being more relatable, and like that's how it kind of started off with like the voice. And now over time, it's like so many people on the team have access to our socials. So when they schedule stuff, like yeah, it is them. Sometimes the occasionally like there's gonna be people also shit posting, and it's fun because like our entire team likes to have fun. Like we're all on the same like brain frequency. It's really awesome. Like we've cultivated like just the community and culture within that. Like everyone is on a mutual level. Like we are here to like have fun and make some change, and like so equally like honestly, yeah, like when you said you don't know who's tweeting, it's like yeah, neither do I honestly. It could be a shit post popping off on Electric Hawk like last night, and I could be like, did I tweet that?
Yo, but that's great too that you give people control like that too. I feel like sometimes I've even with the shit that's like, my manager just being like, let me post about this or something. I'm like, I want it to be more me too. So I never give out my password or something. But just the fact that y'all are even so on the same level, it's kind of, it's nice, man. Where are you located?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
But I just moved here in July. I used for the last 3 years. I lived in Chicago though.
Oh shit. Okay. So is that where it started then? Chicago?
Yeah, I'd say Electric Hawk started in Chicago for sure.
All right. Is that where any of the rest of the squad is from? Or are you guys mostly from Denver? Or you guys migrate to Denver?
We have a marketing intern that's in Chicago. Mary, she's in Denver here with me. Tony, there's 35 of us at least, by the way. So
What?
on the team,
God damn.
so we're pretty spread out. We don't really have anyone in the West Coast. Honestly, like Denver is almost like as far as it goes. We're super spread out, man. Like a lot of us in the Northeast, a lot of us in kind of like Florida or so, Texas, Indiana, Michigan.
Wow.
Um, Denver. Yeah, man, we're super spread out,
Wait, so
honestly.
is 35, is that counting like the artists you manage, or is that 35 just
Three,
holy fuck, man.
35 people. Yeah,
That's
we have
just Electric Hawk directly. Oh my god.
Topeka, Kansas. Shout out Abby. And yeah, I mean, like we have a huge writing team. We have like directors on the team who are kind of like controlling like specific arms of Electric Hawk. Like some people like control like the marketing department, and that's like 5 6 people already. We
Wow.
have some people that are like the writing team. That's kind of like the bulk of it, though. We have like editors and like the managing editor, the editor in chief Brianna. Like she manages all the writers on that team and all the new people we just brought in. And then we have like the artist managers. People have specific roles. We try to diversify it, but also kind of make sure that people have that door open so they can, if they want to learn artist management, it's like, yo, the door's open. Like you can have this conversation. We'll show you what you do with a specific artist and take it from there.
Oh
So
shit.
it's like, yeah, I mean, everyone plays a really important role, and everyone plays, everything affects the other part of Electric Hawk. So
Definitely, man. And is it that kind of way with managing the artist too? Because I know you mentioned Mary, and she has Matheny, who's in here, and fucking Fryer too, who's a good friend of mine. And did they pick these artists themselves, or like what? How is that process? You guys let these? You guys have a roster, or what is it? Oh, we just got a raid too, yo! Shout out the raid, man. More people in
hey,
here, more
okay,
beautiful
let's
people in here.
go.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, I see Mary in here too, man. There she goes.
Yeah, Matt Fryer is awesome, amazing ass, nice dude. I mean, like with the art, like it all stems back from the debut, the compilation album of our label as well, In Harmony. A lot of those artists all came from that album, like
Oh
Fryer,
shit.
Vieira, Saate, Matheny, Common Creation. That's one artist that I manage, and like our next one, like Cole Jackson. That's another artist I manage. Like everyone that we manage is like has at some point released with Electric Hawk from the very early days, and like I mean they took a risk on us too because like we didn't really have much either at the back then. Like they were like kind of like they saw the potential and allowed us and gave us their trust to kind of work that out with them and kind of allowed us to architect those careers, I guess. And it's like they were all friends. Like it wasn't like a thing where it was like they emailed us and we're like, hey, I'm looking for management. Could you please pick me up? Honestly, I get emails like that pretty often, and immediately my head goes no because I don't know you. And like that's not an offensive thing. It's because I want to make sure that we're investing our time in people that we trust and we know are very genuine and wholesome people who really want this. Like your music's good, sure, but the most important thing is that we see potential in you. Like that's the key thing. And we saw potential in all these artists. So like Fryer, Matheny, they're great friends, yes. But at the beginning, though, we saw potential in them. We still see it, and we're trying to help them reach that.
Yeah, man. And obviously it's like a mutual thing too because it's like management is almost like it's not almost unclear of who's working for who, but you got to kind of realize there's like a weird dynamic there too, of like the artist kind of has a weird last say, but the management has like it's like the creative director too, he's like, oh, let me suggest this. Oh, I hope you don't get offended if I do this kind of thing too. But if you trust each other like that, which I think you guys have definitely earned everybody's trust with, the streams, whether it be the label, the management of artists who you guys believe in too. I think that shows faith in the scene, and people kind of relate to that. They kind of want to see that kind of thing win. If you guys are putting your faith into some of these artists just as much as they're putting their faith into you too, because it's not a very balanced thing most of the time. It's very like one-sided sometimes. Oh, the label they do this, and they're going to get by doing the bare minimum too. They're going to get by doing, if the artist doesn't call and complain about something, they're not going to call them and be like, all right, let me rock the boat. What can we do this week? What can we not do? It's weird, but it seems like you guys are very like transparent too. And that's
That's
a big thing.
that's one thing that I've been learning through all of our really good artist manager friends. One person that I really our whole team really appreciates is like Joey Myers. He like manages Kumarion and something something. But like we get a lot of information from him really often to be able to lean on him, or like other artist managers like Harrison from Deadbeats. I ask him questions very often. Who like manages Zed's Dead, Denmo, Sippy, and it's like we like the most important thing that we've learned when it comes to artist management, man, is like after here, like especially too, like I'm in all these discords of like all these other artists that we're friends with, and I hear their pains daily of like what they hate about what their manager is doing. Mind you, what hurts me the most is that they're signed via contract
Ooh.
already. Like they're locked in. Sure, the artist manager sometimes that they're signed to already comes with a lot of resources, though. That's a big plus, though. But it sucks to hear that, like, it seems like the manager is more so acting like a boss and a creative director over their project
Yeah.
rather than, like, bro, like, I don't know, like, I was like, if you're an artist manager, like, you're working for the artist, like, straight up, like, what the artist says goes. Like, your job is to be able to, like, you see the goal for them, you can set those goals for them and present those opportunities and kind of help them navigate to get to that goal and find those resources and handle those negotiations for them. But at the end of the day, it's like it's their call. You know what I mean? Like you work for them.
Yeah.
That's it. The artist doesn't work for you. So yeah.
It's like a thin line too. Like you said though, it's they treat it like it's like an investment, you know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. And I mean, if you care about your future too, you should look at it as an investment, but sometimes it's more of like how can we cut the corners to get the investment back as quick as possible instead of like let this dude kind of figure it out or we figure it out. You know, I mean, there's definitely some fucking advice that we all could take. A lot of artists aren't privy to any kind of musical business, you know, whatsoever. You know, and we wouldn't be anywhere without the fucking support from you guys. So on that note, I just want to thank y'all for the hype train, the raid. Like it's crazy. These subs were coming in, a 5 bomb, 200 biddies. Like, yo, thank you guys. Seriously, we're not neglecting that. I see the chat. Y'all are coming in, singing praises from this man too. This man spitting true facts too. But you know, at the end of the day too, we all kind of work for the people too. We all kind of work for the public, especially in this, like, it's like a service industry in a way too. You know, now we're trying to get as many streams, and I've been realizing as much fun as I have with the streaming, it's going to be as big of a climb with as the music. Now I almost got two careers too, so I could only imagine what you're like. You started off with a blog and now you got fucking people working under you, and is that a lot? Do you thrive under pressure like that, or do you have you know, now that people are kind of relying on you, is that a big weight that you're new to? 2021 is going to be a big year, you know.
I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I yeah. I mean, I like the pressure, but more so, I guess to reword it differently, I like having goals. I feel like it's a little different than saying I like the pressure. Reason being is because I mean, like several examples of Electric Hawk. It's like we had periods of time in this last year and a half where it was like we felt like we were just plateauing for like a month or two, where like nothing was changing. Like we were just growing very slowly because we didn't have anything ambitious planned. So like in Harmony Virtual Festivals, like all those amazing examples. And like I tell people this all the time, it's like y'all gotta start set goals for yourselves and like make them as crazy as possible. Because if you set these goals, whether you have a team behind you or not, and you're unifying people as a leader to do this kind of goal, and everyone has the same objective, everyone finds their specific role and kind of piece in this kind of moving mechanism. It's like you're gonna see yourself hit this goal very fast, faster than you think. Yeah, manifest it, and it's like we we've always had something to look forward to, and that's the important thing because next thing you know, like 3 years will have gone by and you will have accomplished so much shit. You'll have done so many things whether you know it or not, as compared to it's like if you know you just have like a singular mindset of like, yeah, we're just supposed to be doing this, like we're just supposed to be writing this and then post it. Like that's not the goal, that's not the mindset. It's like we want to change lives here, and like that's the thing you can do as an artist. It's like I want to make the craziest album I've ever made, and like you can say I'm gonna do this next year. Then have that deadline and make like a track every month or something like that, and just chip away at it. Let suddenly a year passes by, you have this perfect album, and you just break through with it. Like things like that happen for any kind of instance, any kind of career. I think you just need to shoot as high as possible. That's the most important thing.
Yo, for real, absolutely. That's big advice too, man. Just you never know, and a year is really nothing in this grand scheme of things. You know, this year flew by quicker than anything. And if you started working on some shit in the beginning of quarantine, I know limited, things to be working on, but whatever resources you want are kind of there, and you could have been a hella good producer. We've been listening to some beats from producers that started a year or two ago, and it's just like it's lighting a fire under my ass too, because you're just like, holy fuck, man, this is nuts, man. These people are so new to the game. I don't know if they're watching tutorials that are like brand new, or if they're getting master classes from people, but the resources are there for people to get as good as they can in as short amount of time as can. But just gotta want it, I guess. What do you got to
That's
say?
kind of, you kind of bring up a good point. I mean, this year when it comes to like artists kind of growing them, like developing themselves, like everyone was forced to find out, okay, I don't have shows to play. My booking agent took a shit. He can't do anything for me. Like it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like you as an artist and anyone in the industry, you have to look yourself hard in the mirror and think, okay, I can't just sit on my ass for a year. Like I can't until shows come back. Like I need to do something. So you have people like you who are just pushing boundaries and setting an example of like doing these awesome ass streams, engaging with people and converting fans from just doing a casual fan to I am a diehard Brightside fan. And that's what people need to figure out and haven't figured out this last year, or just trying to find out new ways of revenue. Kind of like just this too. Like artists who like are really dope ass producers are now becoming mentors, like tutors. And like they weren't doing that before COVID. They
No,
were just doing that because they need money realistically this
true.
year. But like now I know a lot of artists who are like starting to do mentorship classes and stuff like that. Vice versa, like they're taking mentorship classes during this time where they have all the time in the world now, and it's like out coming out of this pandemic, it's like we're about to have some big brain producers, man.
Damn, no, for real. It's gonna be crazy. Just the level of intuition that a lot of the music is going to have too, instead of everybody chasing these electric forest gigs or everything, just having a year not to kind of have like outside influence. I know we're still having outside influence, but just sometimes I make a song, and when you're in that like hustle and bustle, you make a song. If it's a down tempo tune, you're like, all right, maybe I'll throw it into this week's set, and then it doesn't do good. It doesn't like get the reaction that you were hoping for or something. So you might, or myself personally, I don't want to speak for anybody, I might be like, I'm not going to release that tune or whatever. I might, I seen the effect it had, even though it shouldn't have that effect. If I like the tune, maybe I should just fucking play it, release it. And now I've asked a lot of artists too how they feel about that, and if they've made different kind of music than when we were all fighting for the same fucking slots at night. And everyone, it's like a unanimous yes too. Whether it be I'm making harder music than I was, or I'm making softer, it's all like I'm making more of what kind of comes natural, instead of I need that 9 o'clock set or 11 p.m. set. So I mean, it was almost freeing for a little bit to not get in the rat race, or feel the rat race, at least with art too, because it does kind of wear on you, and we're all fighting for these same positions and headline slots or whatever, but now, like you said, we have other revenue streams. It almost relieves that pressure. It makes you want to do a little bit more of your passion project or whatever makes you happy too. So is that like, is the online stuff, was that kind of fleeting in your guys' repertoire, or what? Are you going to continue with the streams or diversifying streams? Because I know you guys are still active, but you said no more harmonies, right? So I mean, you're focusing on the physical one.
Yeah, so with Harmony Virtual Festival, I mean, we did those for so many months, and so many of them were so like they were so great. They like I'm so grateful for all the work and time that was put into those and the result that came out of it. But next, yeah, we kind of wanted to hang that up. I felt like it was time. I felt like I just wanted to leave that on a good note with that finale, and it ended great. And then like I just wanted to protect that name and that brand, and just not let it be some like some recurring series. I want it
Mm.
to be something special for those specific weekends, a stamp in time, because when we do bring it back in like a couple years, when we do bring back that brand Harmony Festival, not Virtual Festival, and we've laid out the groundwork, we've secured investors, we're making this a reality, then when Festival hits and it's announced, I want it to be like a fucking celebration and complete ode to all this time we spent this last year.
Yo, hell yeah. No, that's dope. That's a really cool way to look at it too. I've been wondering if I've been consistent with the Sunday streams too, and just like looking into different projects and people's, hearing documentaries and just studying the game of music. You kind of look at the Dead's following, and you look at Fish's following, all these like big followings, and how there's a mystique to how they got him, and this is the reason why they got him. And some people are like, it was inclusive, that's why. Some people are like, it was exclusive, that's. So it's really kind of what you make it and how you figure it out. But I like the exclusive thing that you guys have too. I've almost wanted to replicate that with my own thing and be like, all right, maybe doing a stream every single week is kind of almost overkill, but at the same time there's a lane for that too. So I've kind of just been more comfortable with my own lane instead of being like, the doing it 3 times and making it special for everybody who was included and leaving it. Then I love that part of it too. I'm like, it's like a constant inner battle of what to be overexposure and underexposure almost too. But you find that with the running your label as well? Do you guys try to like keep it as niche as possible? Do you have a lot of final say, or do you trust your team to have, to keep things pretty clean and professional?
I trust my team 110% in everything they do. I have oversight in everything. I'm looped into everything and all the decisions, but like ultimately, it's like like they're there in that position that they are in because like they earned it, and like they've built Electric Hawk to this point with me. So it's like like we're doing great already. Like keep doing your thing. Like keep picking these songs out. Keep doing this A&R. Like keep connecting these artists. Like you're doing great. And it's like so I would not have it any other way. When it comes to the consistency and everything, like we do have like a weekly release on SoundCloud only, and it's kind of like we call it the nest. And like every Wednesday, we just drop a SoundCloud track. We don't put all of our resources into it. It's kind of like just more so a way to also indoctrinate people into the artist family. We do some press for it. We do push it to some promo channels for sure. But when it comes to like our official label releases that we distribute to all DSPs, and those are like spread out like at once every 2 weeks. They have way more promo. We produce the content for it. We send out press releases to every blog that we know. We expend everything. Like we use all
Oh
the
shit.
resources for those tracks. And when it comes to those two, I mean, like those are the tracks that like also like make it official. Like you are part of the Electric Hawk family. Like moving forward, don't matter like if this is we do not want this release to feel like a one and done. That's just like you're with us forever. Like we got your back forever. And it's like that's the kind of yeah, it varies. I mean, it's like it also depends on our workload. I mean, with this past year, we did do releases on the label very often, but we tried to be considerate with like Harmony Virtual Festival. We didn't want to like schedule like 2 tracks in the same week as a Harmony Virtual Festival weekend where we were going to display 2 nights of like 20 hours of sets straight. Like because
Yeah.
that's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
so we had to be kind of I guess pretty considerate of our time.
Yeah, no, it's a learning curve too, man. Just release and just being either overexposed or underexposed, and just finding that balance of what works and what doesn't. And it seems like you guys have a pretty good understanding of that too. Just whether it be shit posting, like you said, or actual good content too. Because when it is the content, it's not like just to have something, you know what I mean? It's not like you guys are scraping the bottom of the barrel to get a release out. But I didn't know it was under such a strict timeline, like once every 2 weeks. I feel like that's definitely a pretty good amount of time for a label to stay relevant and almost not oversaturate themselves too. But is it you guys staying in this lane for the foreseeing future, or is the Harmony in Real Life Festival going to have some bands, or are you guys experimenting with some other stuff, some techno, some
So, bro, yeah, Mary just said in the chat, you should see our trackers and schedules. Man, I'm telling you, bro, we got a Google spreadsheet for every fucking thing and more. Like, there's probably like 60 documents, so like 60 different pages. So, um, yeah,
That's good
like
though. Busy's good.
yeah. So when it comes to diversifying the label, yeah, like Mary and Nor had this idea they wanted to kind of start like a sub label for like techno and house, and like I think that's a great idea. That's like still TBD in development. The idea is there. But then again, like everything starts from an idea, so it's like yeah, I want to do it. It's gonna happen. I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And
Oh,
with our current label, though, it's like we try and be as diverse as possible. Like, I don't want to be, I don't want us to be locked into like a box with like the type of stuff we release. We're not an underground bass label. We're not an underground trap label. We just release music that we feel is true to us and that we love. Our whole team, there's 35 plus of us. So our tastes are pretty
oof.
all over. So it's like with our releases, it reflects that. You know, like if you want to send us a hybrid track song, it's like if we really like it and we think it's different and we enjoyed it enough to invest our time and money into it, yeah, we'll release it. But like the next week we're gonna drop like a wave track, for example, or like we
Oh,
could drop like a
nice.
techno track. Like it's it's part of the fun that I
Yeah.
think I want to bring to Electric Hawk. Like I don't want to be predictable either. I like being surprising, but the main audience that and community that I want to build around Electric Hawk is people who have an open taste for music that enjoy everything and just really enjoy music sharing culture. Like it's straight up,
Absolutely.
it's like you love everything: bass music, techno, wave, all that shit. You are a music curating connoisseur, and you belong in our community.
Dude, I'm loving it so much. I'm loving the message so much. I'm trying to get a peek at what's going on in the whiteboard behind you, getting a little maybe hopefully a little peek at what's going on. I see upcoming. I'm trying to read what's behind you. I'm trying to get a
Oh,
little leak over here.
this was empty too. Darn, it was completely filled 2 days ago. It was almost empty this morning. So I cleared that shit out maybe like a day or two ago.
Just writing random things on it just to look like you're super busy. No shit, man. So I seen a question from 5 Star, who's a big homie in this chat. He produces some crazy stuff, but just having another person's perspective, maybe not even on the music that's coming up, but like the marketability. I seen him say, he highlighted a message that said, what fuck, hold on, let me try to see this. It was a while ago, but he said something about like what would help marketing outside of music then. So I think something along those lines. But what would help, a project, or what should people look into outside of the music to maybe help the marketability of their tunes?
First, you need to ask yourself, are you a marketable brand? A lot of artists today are making dope music. Cool. Unless your music is like fucking genre bending, next level, you're making Flume level music before Flume makes it, it's going to be hard to stand out from the crowd because first impressions matter. When I'm scrolling, the general casual list music fan, if they're scrolling through these community channels that you're in, if they're scrolling through SoundCloud or Spotify, and they don't have this visual, attractive first appearance of you or on social media, and they're not hooked at that first moment that they see you, it's going to be harder to kind of bite them in to convert them from just first impression to casual fan to I'm a diehard fan of yours. I'm going to buy your merchant tickets the very moment you drop them. It's important to kind of get a whiteboard almost and really plot hard. How can I make myself look like a true artist? You make good music, cool. That's check number one. That doesn't stop there. You need to kind of keep elevating. How can I keep building a community around myself so that way I can build an internal economy of you can make spreading your own music. Make a Discord, make a Twitter chat with all of your artist friends or your just close homies. Something to where you can have just 3 people who are screaming your name from the top of the mountains turn into 10 people and it just keeps spreading. It's important to kind of lock into those few people that are really talking about music loudly and stay close to them. That's the most important thing because that's what's going to turn into converting into having a large scale audience over time. It's going to take time, but there's so many different factors. You have good music, that's step one. But what comes next is the amount of work you're putting into to actually spreading that music to the right people. And then after that, are you ready to accept that wave of new people when they come visit your music and your profile? Like, what are they going to see when they first click on your profile? Are they going to like what they see? Are they going to stick around? Are they going to click follow after they see what they see? Because if they see some like alien head or something, or just like a selfie of you as your profile picture, and like you don't have your socials listed or something, and but you have cool music, they're gonna be super confused.
Yeah.
And
If it's an inside joke or something, like it's that's the line that I was talking about too, like the inclusivity too. Like people love being in something before it's cool, but also at the same time you got to kind of make it digestible too. Not everyone could be in on these inside jokes. I mean, unless you foster that, I guess. But is this something that you guys look out for, like what you were just saying on in terms of marketability and stuff? Is this something that you look for in an artist, or is that what you try to foster in them? Is that what you like are is that what you find your strong points in and try to help that in artists that are lacking that maybe have your ears and eyes, but yeah, is it something that you've had to push down people's throats almost, or kind of that's what you're looking for in an artist before you found them like that,
So things we look for, I mean, first, yeah, it is the music. Like if your music's great and like we go back and listen to your other releases and we enjoy them as well, it's like we kind of start painting a future, like a picture of you. Like we don't like the online presence stuff. It's not a big deal at first because that can be worked on, like that can be improved. Like we can tell you to fix that, like no sweat. We can show you the steps, we can show you the ropes to get ready for that influx. Some labels, yeah, they do look for that, and I mean that's their preference, like because they want to make sure that you're marketable and they want to capitalize. But we see the long term, that's just our preference. It's like some labels will just want to make sure that they get their immediate investment in you as soon as possible, and if you don't have your socials and your online presence prepared for that, they're probably going to listen to your track, which is most likely dope and fits their label, but they're going to go, not a good fit. They're not marketable. That's honestly like a lot of labels say that. Like
yeah.
you're not marketable. And like it sucks to hear that. But like that's why another thing too, it's important is like when you send your demos to people on like labels and like you appreciate the fuck and like stay close to people who actually respond and tell you what their thoughts are. Like whether it's like something they thought about your track, or if they told you you're not marketable, take that shit and run with it and be like, okay, I'm gonna make some changes. Send your demo back and be like, what do you think now? What can I improve? Like constantly look for that feedback. Like that's so fucking important because if ideally like we also like look for like artists that like are open to that feedback. Like we don't want to work with artists that are stubborn or not willing to make that improvement on their careers. We're looking for passionate people with music that we appreciate, and at that core, those are the two most important key factors. The rest we can put in our resources and change.
Yeah, no. So what right off the bat would be like the first thing besides, I guess, like you just said, the having your own sound design, which having your own sound and unique kind of aesthetic maybe is really hard in this day and age. So other than that, while that's being figured out, like what is something you guys kind of look for in terms of like right off the bat? Is it, I mean, just even in terms of like vibe too, when you're sending a demo, like sometimes people just send me a link and then I'm just like, you want a way never to listen to a song? It's like, don't even say anything. There's not a follow. I think we look into that. I don't know if it's spite or what, but sometimes
No,
like this dude doesn't even follow me back. He wants me to repost, or he's like just flat out just like, yo, repost. I'm like, what? But
I'm gonna
yeah,
be
so what do
honest.
you guys? What's your first impressions on like how do you go about that?
Fucking great question. So this comes to everything, whether it's press inquiry. I know for the artists who are watching this, like fucking great question. This comes to sending demos, sending press releases so you can get blog coverage, literally just sending something so you can have someone hear it. Like that's it. All this, if you're sending that, your first impression matters like crazy. A lot of people say, like, oh, you have to like, make sure you're honest in it. Yeah, be honest. Don't lie in your email. Don't bullshit. People can tell. I get emails very often where people are like, I've been following you for so like 4 years. I'm just like, we've only been a label for 1 year. What are you talking about, bro? Like it's like stuff like that. But it's things like that. Just be honest. If you fuck with the label and have like maybe name some instances like, hey, like your X release like that you did like back then, like
Yep.
I loved it. This is how I found out about you guys, and I feel like this release will fit really well. Not don't say fit really well. Some labels are very I guess picky when it comes to that, because like for example like Deadbeats at Harrison, they've told me like they accept demos from what they think is going to be popping 6 months from now. They plan for at the time that it releases, they expect it to be a hot track. They don't release music that is hot now. They release
True.
music that they plan on being hot six
Oh
months from now.
shit.
So that's important thing too, is like don't
Damn.
say that's a fit for your label. Don't say that you think it's gonna match what their songs currently sound like. Just say, yo, I think this track, you'll like this track. I have appreciated XYZ that you guys have done. I've been following you for X years. Don't lie, because they're going to see that. And that's a nice way to start. But that's a first impression technically, but the first impression was what a lot of people oversee here, that I think a lot of people need to learn. Your first impression extends beyond before that email. For example,
Oh
with
shit.
Electric Hawk, this happens so many times, and so many artists have successfully gotten through and made a connection with us because they work up to that first message, that first Twitter DM, that first email saying, "Hey, I am finally working up the courage to send you this. I respect you guys a lot. Here's my demo." This is what they do. Over the course of a certain amount of time, they interact with the specific people of the label or the publication on social media. Don't be weird. Just follow whatever. Don't accept the follow back. Find out who the team is on the specific team that you are trying to send music to, whether it's a blog, label, whatever. Find the owners of it. Find the people that are working on every operation, and become a familiar household name, whether that's replying some nice things to their tweet about how they stubbed their toe and on their table in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. they tweet that. Reply to that and be like, "Yo, that sucks," laughing emoji. I don't know. Just spark up a genuine conversation and make your name, your presence known before you send that first email, and be like, "Yo, so I've been following you guys for like 3 months, and here's my demo. Like, I would appreciate what you to hear your thoughts." I open that email, and immediately when I see the subject name, I'm like, "Oh, I know this kid from Twitter." And I
True.
fuck with him. Like, he's awesome. He's super nice on Twitter. I look at his shit. I listen to it. The demo sounds hot. I start exploring his page. He has a very nice presence on social media. I'm like, "Yo, let's do it. Let's drop this track. He's in." Like, that's how it works. And it's like, you want to build up to that first official first impression. A lot of people just think, "Oh, I'm going to send my track. I'm going to send my press inquiry and call it a day. They're going to tell me." No, that's not how it works. Because at the end of the day, you're still a stranger with good music. Like, that's it. You want to be someone who's familiar with good music. That's how you get the edge on everyone
True.
else.
Yeah, it's kind of weird in this day and age too, where it's almost like the same thing with the people. Like that's what the people want. They don't want a stranger. There's a few artists that are like that too, but that can get away with being a stranger to everybody. But like I feel like it's like you got to be almost open book with even your fans too now, you know, and just the same way as the connections upward, it's like the same way downwards too, because it's just it's like a cycle. It's just a cyclical thing, you know. We don't get anything without them. They don't get anything, you know, I guess product wise. And to say without us is kind of weird too, because we're very replaceable in a way too, you know. Like there's a million of us trying to fight for the same thing, working a little bit harder, but just in terms of like us abiding by that trust that they have in us, like it's a very mutual thing. It's a very mutually beneficial thing. So as soon as you stop kind of realizing that, it's it starts biting you in the ass too, you know. But just I think putting it in that term, supporting not just the fucking label, not just the whole movement, but the people behind it, the individuals, like not just using them too, because I don't know, man. You could just feel that even through the computer screen now. You could feel who's kind of like, not everybody who's nice to you is going to be good to you. You know what I mean? Wants good things for you. Not everybody who's nice to you is there for good reasons sometimes, you know? And I don't know, it's have you guys gotten a lot of that, especially in the past year growing and blowing up? Have you guys had a lot of people who might have counted you out, who might have like not wanted to work with you? Oh, hey, want to release something now? And it's like, bro, you know, it's don't spit in the wind, you know, kind of thing.
So yeah, all the time. I mean, yeah, like electric, like we're not huge like yet. Like, we're not like deadbeats level. Like, do I plan to be? Like, do I plan electric holic to be? Yeah, I want to be there at level. I want to change lives like on that scale. But at the beginning, like, yeah, we were just on blog. Like, when I would hit up artist managers and like artists and like be like, "Yo, do you want to I'd be like, this is how I look in their DMs. Be like, "Yo, you wanna be a guest on our radio show? We only have like 2,000 followers on SoundCloud. Like, are you cool with that?" And like sometimes we get no response. I'm like, whatever. Like, I understand what we bring to the table, and it's not at that scale, so I wouldn't be offended. I'm shooting a fucking Kobe shot. Like, I'm shooting a long ass shot, so I wouldn't be offended. But there would be some artists and some artist managers out there who would reply like fucking rude as shit
Yeah.
at the time, like just make me feel so belittled and small and tiny, like in a very rude and offensive way. And then fast forward a year later, we're doing harmony, we've got this blog, we're doing all this shit on socials, and they hit us up like, yo, you guys want to do this for us? And my first head is no. Like the way you guys treated me back then, I remember everything. I remember
Oh yeah.
I feel like I have a good memory for this. But the same thing comes vice versa for the nice things that people do. Like it matters a lot how you interact with people, literally at any scale, because you never know who is going to pop off a year from now. You don't know. And like these relationships matter at every fucking scale.
For
Like
real.
if it comes to, like an artist like that we work with or an artist manager back then, like I would get no's, but sometimes like they would be like, yo, I respect and appreciate that you reached out to us and that you want to consider us for your festival or your virtual festival or your radio mix or whatever. But we'll have to kindly pass on this and like that. But they're like, keep us in mind for future things though.
Yeah.
That kind of shit makes me work harder.
Yeah. No,
Like,
motivate. Same thing with the other way too. Sometimes the people giving you shit sometimes makes me work hard too. But that is like, all right, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. At least there was like a niceness to it. You know what I mean? It's like not the fucking oh my shit don't stink, kind of thing. It's like, what is that, bro? We're making computer music, like it's what's going on? We're not that important at the end of the day. It's very humbling sometimes to remind yourself that. I think that's maybe why they act like that. They haven't been humbled in a while. It's nothing but air blowing up the butt, But hey, that bites a lot of people in their ass in the long term. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I'm sure you're the same. Just not even in terms of cyclical people coming and going, and oh hey, you want to work together now, but just like big guys who were going to be the big star is going to be, selling out all these venues. And now it's like, they kind of got bored of it too or whatever, So I don't know if the people got bored of them or what, but it's kind of a weird battle, man. But do you guys find yourself fighting with relevancy too, or is that's been kind of something that came natural with having such a good team?
it came naturally. I
That's
mean,
dope.
having the blog has been an amazing asset because we're able to form these relationships. Whether even if an artist doesn't want to release something on our label, their manager or the artist will hit us up via DM and be like, "Yo, like I have this release coming out soon. Like, would appreciate you guys listening to it. If you're able to cover it, that'd be awesome. If not, thank you for your time." It's stuff and like this. These are artists like just like way up like sub doctors level and shit like that are telling us that, and it's just mind blowing that we've gotten to that point so naturally. um I feel like it comes naturally with all the resources and operations as everything kind of grew in its own path. Overall, like the platform just growing has allowed us to get those connections more organically. It's been nice too with like these virtual festivals that we've done. Like we've further solidified the relationships that were just more casual to now it's just like we're calling all these artists by like first names and like we just text them and shoot the shit. They like join our Discord like screaming pee pee poo poo come and just gibberish to us. Like it's literally the same mindset and it's fun because it's like we at this point now it's like a lot of these artists that we support like we don't really see them as like just like an artist that we looked up to anymore. Like we see them as like friends, and it's like when we support them, like we're supporting the homies, and it's like it's
Yeah.
so easy to support the homies.
For real.
So
And it kind of gives them a little humility too. Like all these people who we kind of are like, oh, oh, they're this guy, like you said, sub doctors level too. And he's such a good dude. Shout out Preston, man. He's such a good homie. Like he's just somebody who makes you feel like that we're on the same level, you know what I mean? Like, and that's not, it's such a weird thing to say, but especially as artists too. And I talked to Press, he's like, he just makes you feel good, dude. He's like, oh, we'll go on tour, we'll do this. I'm like, all right, thank you, man. Whereas everyone else is like, they just talk about themselves sometimes, so to have those gems too, and to see him doing well, it's real dope. And for him not to like get some hype and turn around and not look back, that's really dope too. He treats everybody the same, and I think it's most people will tell you that about Preston too. He's a real dope dude. But yeah, what you guys are doing is dope because it's like you're relying on your own relevancy instead of artists too. And I think a lot of labels, I mean, you have a lot of other things going too, but labels specifically rely on their artists to push their name, and you guys are doing more of like a wholesome thing where it's like everybody benefits. Even your team, who's not directly benefiting from Fryer or whoever, they might be more invested to help push his project now because of how he represents Electric Hawk as a whole too, and vice versa. You guys represent him. It's like a really dope kind of thing that is nice to see in the scene.
There's yeah, that's something that I've been telling a lot of labels that have kind of like been having conversations with me, people that are just starting their label or just like looking to kind of like learn what we're doing. And it's like super important thing that like I feel like people overlook, like I brought up earlier before. It's like so many labels, they rely on that artist's already current community and outreach to kind of, I don't want to sound rude when I say this, but it's like the label in a sense is almost like they're benefiting more from the artist release than the artist is benefiting from the label, if that
Definitely.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's why, I always tell everyone, it's like if you're starting a label at any size at all, like you have to evaluate like what you have to offer and bring to the table. And if you don't have, realistically, if you're not going to front a fucking stacks of money to invest in promo or something like that, to realistically be taking 50% of their master or something like that, it's like then you have to provide something else. And that something else can be bringing them into what I can kind of call as like an internal economy of like a fan economy almost. And
Yeah.
like, so like you have to build your own community, you have to build your own fan base as a label. Don't rely on artists. Whether it's, sure, you can have your artist roster to kind of help you build that, but if you're going to release someone's song that is out of your roster, like a management, and you're going to release their song on your platform, you have to be able to give them more than just money. You have to give them something in the longevity that you're going to be able to lean on. So like Deadbeats, I super inspired from that. Like Harrison over there and like their team, like they constantly like show support for all the released artists all the time, even though the last time they released with that artist was like a fucking year ago. And it's like
Oof,
that's what I
that's
want
dope.
out of Electric Hawk. It's like I tell artists every time, and like our team touches back with all these artists that we were released with, even like a year ago, every month, and say, "Yo, how are you doing mentally? What are you doing next for your release? What do you have in the works? Is there anything we can help with?" And then lastly, it's like, don't hesitate to let us know if there's anything you need signal boosted, retweeted, whatever.
Yeah.
Tell us. We want to help you out. Because there's some artists who are so conditioned to not receiving that they get scared. They literally tell me, they're like, "Oh, I didn't feel like annoying you. I didn't feel like bugging you, Dariel." I'm like, "Bro, shut up, send me your announcement, I will share it right now." Like,
Damn. No, that's prime too, because like you said, we're just conditioned and not even asked for that. But I think slowly over quarantine, I've kind of realized like it's like super independence almost. It's a super independence. I kind of heard that it's like almost a mental illness kind of thing, super independent. So I don't want to put that on anybody out there, but just in terms of my own thing, it's like I don't even want to ask anybody or do this and that. But in the long term, you guys, if you release a song and 2 years later somebody blows up, that's what I do with artists. I listen to their whole catalog of stuff. So I mean, not even just from a beneficial from you kind of thing, it just does benefit everybody to be a long-term supporter of these kind of things, especially if you're a label and you put out an artist and 2 years later, 3 years later, they blow up. That song that didn't even do well 2 years ago could get 50,000 views. Yeah, skyrocketed. So I
you
mean, it is
you also
definitely a mutual beneficial thing, and people definitely are like, if it's not on my label, I'm not gonna repost it. But it helps you with content too. I feel like it helps
long
you
term,
keep
long
the
term,
page
man.
alive.
Yeah, long term, man. It's like it's also a beneficial thing as a label, from what I see. It like we haven't really got to that point yet because we've only been a label for a year. So like we're not gonna see, I guess, the results of this longevity like type of care until maybe like next year or 2 years from now. Like I mean, like Fryer, I guess like he had this like collab EP with Mersive on Wakan, but like stuff like that is gonna happen in the future still. Like we've got all our artists on our roster who are releasing on Excision's label, Subsidia,
Oh
like
shit!
constantly now, like, on several
Nice,
different compilations, to the point
nice.
where we're going to see that more and more often. But like the point is, it's like, are you really like, like you want to do, like, do you want to be the label that kind of ignored that artist deep down after you release with them, and like because that artist is gonna know, they're gonna like hold that to like truth, like they're gonna realize like, wow, that was a one and done, like I don't care about that release at all, like that releasing that with them like didn't do anything for me, like that's how they're gonna feel deep down, and like they have every right to feel like that if you don't show them the care in the long term after that
100%.
release, because like that release is forever. Like it's on your label forever. You should be doing everything in your power to promote that release. Because just like you said, if that artist ends up getting on like fucking Wakan or some other major label and they just start blowing up like crazy, that release on your label is going to start popping off, and now you're going to benefit from it. But not only that, I think people should strive to be that label that like go, or that collective, that organization, like that crew of artists that can go, yeah, that artist that is blowing up right now, he's one of ours. And like that brings so much pride because there's going to be so many artists from that moving point. They're going to be like, wow, that artist blew up because of X label. I want to release with them now. And now it becomes like a dream target label for
Yeah.
everyone.
No, for real. And you know, it's not just the music too at that point. There's a bunch of labels that have come and solidified their style. And now I don't really even pay attention to them, like not even a name drop or slander anybody, but like someone that come to mind in terms of like quality music too is Saturate Music, but I don't even check up on them anymore, you know. And they harness G Jones and a couple other those people, but in terms of like label relativity and keeping up with their artists and stuff, like I don't even know, you know. I mean, I think a couple of friends have released on Saturate recently, but would it be a dream label of mine anymore? I don't think so, you know. Would that be a connection that's harnessed? I've had bad experiences with places that I've not even bad, just places that I'm never going to release again with, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Cuz I'm like I felt that. I'm like More Flow is a good one though, bro. I still get PayPal payments from like for like $1. It's nothing, but just the fact that they
But
do
the
that,
fact that they're paying,
bro.
fire.
The
That's
fact, dude,
fire.
that shows me so much like loyalty. The fact that every 6 months I get like a payout from them for like $1 or $2, I'm like, that's I respect that. You know what I mean? That's a
You don't have
really
to
dope.
bug them or anything. They're like, we
No,
got you, even if it's 5 cents. We will
dude,
take time out of our day to make sure that
dude.
we're keeping up with you. Like
It's like a little
fire.
invoice. I'm like, that's professional. That's real shit, you know. And it's like the same thing with booking companies too. When you go and you don't have to fucking chase them around and get paid at the end of the night. They got an envelope for you or something, you know. It's very professional, and that's kind of what it seems like with you guys. It's not just off of the whim of other people's goodwill, which a lot of this music industry, I'm sure a lot of industries in general, were just that was their rocky foundation. It's just like, I guess this will work out, you know, and most of the time it just did. It happened to work out, and we made do with what we had, even if it was playing in the back of a U-Haul van or something, you know. Like, it's just being resourceful at the end of the day. But when you don't have to do that, and you guys have all your, you know, T's crossed and I's dotted, like that's usually what ends up like staying with people at the end of the day. They get that feeling. They're like, all right, we're long-term friends. We're long-term fans of Electric Hawk. So it's really dope that a label is perpetuating that kind of vibe, you know, and just not just looking to get a little quick cash grab, which there's no cash to be grabbed in here. I mean, a little bit, but if you want a quick cash grab, you're in the wrong place, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, royalties are, yeah, you don't make a lot off Spotify royalties.
Oh, hell no, hell no. Shit, man. But yeah, so with that note, you wanna move over to some tunes. We could listen to some
Oh yeah,
maybe
man.
music and get a little perspective that way, because you've been dropping bombs on us. I know people in here got a way newfound respect, way bigger newfound respect for Electric Hawk. And I personally do too, man. I love getting to hear the behind the scenes, the intent behind it, and it's got me motivated. You know, I'm almost using you as like a manager real quick, and just being like, all right, my 6 year plan, what's it gonna be? You know, oh shit, you know, like what can I do for marketing? Huh? Let me write this down. I've been writing it all down, bro. Right next to your phonetic name spelling that I keep butchering. But yeah, man. All right, we got Palmero over here. He's from Finland too, so we've been getting people from all over, and I think that's what's cool about this year. It's been really borderless. You know, I've always had a bunch of people from all over because I traveled. I followed Bass Nectar around like a bunch of shows, so I met people all over. So my shows were never like centralized. But now that we have the internet to do this, it's kind of nice to have people who even are on different fucking time zones. Like it's like 4 o'clock in the morning over there, or some shit, you know, something crazy. But yeah, have you noticed the same thing? You working with international players or what? You've been focused more on like local guys.
Um, signed an NDA, so I can't go too much into it. But yeah,
Oh shit!
we got some cool things popping off in different parts of the world. So it's I can't go
Wow.
too much into it. I'm not sure how much I can go into it, but we definitely met someone really recently that we've been forming a relationship with. They're pretty fucking big when it comes to the term of music industry. I am very grateful to have connected with them. There's a lot going on there, and I'm very
Yo.
excited for next year. So
No, that's awesome to hear, man. Too, I kind of just stumbled right into that question too. I just was like, "This guy's from Finland. It's fucking 4 a.m. here. What about you guys' international roster?" And you're like, "Nope, NDA, bro. This guy's serious with his moves next year." Damn. All right. Well, at least we locked in the interview now before you're too busy. Before that whiteboard is just filled with wall to wall shit, bro. You have the whole wall whiteboard kind of thing. Some Google headquarters. But all right, let's get to Palmera. We'll head to the fucking studio right now. We'll see what Palmera got for us. He's got me as the goddamn album artwork too. Look at this guy. Oh, he's got. Look at this guy. Oh, I gotta fix that. I don't know why it's Discord, but yeah, he's got me. Look at this guy. Funny man, funny man. Okay, mid-tempo idea. He's called this one. Can you hear that all right? Or do I need to share my sound again? Could you hear that, or did it sound like it was
I
coming
can
through
hear it.
my
Yeah,
mic?
I can hear
Oh,
it.
okay, word, perfect. All right, brother, let's play it. Let's go, Palmera with the artwork too. This man tried to meme me.
Was the artwork like supposed to match the vibe? I kind of like the, kind of matches it.
Does that match? That big head ass matches the vibe of that. That was a five IQ, five head type of beat. Is that what you're saying? That
Big
head is
brand.
huge. Wow.
Um, yeah, that track was dope. I feel like when it comes to like kind of like a general consumer of exactly who what kind of audience this would mostly be impacted on, I think in particular this would have a lot of overlap with like people on like Blank's audience, not necessarily like Rez or like that scarier mid-tempo stuff. I think the groove and the melody was definitely pretty nice. I really like that first breakdown that happened. um Particularly mid tempo isn't very my thing though personally. So I feel like my opinion kind of doesn't hold as much weight when it comes to the uniqueness of this track because I don't listen to much mid tempo. I know for a fact though that this would generally be pretty positively received though.
Yeah, definitely. It's especially the Red Squad, like you said. I feel like they're big into what would you label that kind of like deep house or like dark house kind of vibes that she does. And that's kind of what it gave me a little bit more high end that she's I think brings,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, definitely different vibe than you're used to bringing too. 8 followers though, so what do I know? I mean, he puts a new demo track in here, the last couple weeks, and
4 followers.
yeah, 8 followers, yeah,
Okay.
and electronic music since 2020. So I don't know if he's new to producing, or if he's just that new with this project, and that's the vibe you're going for with this project. Or you're still finding your voice too, but dude, it seems like you got a pretty good grasp on production in general. Like every time you come in here, it's not. It's a pretty good formatted song. It's got the pretty digestible dance beat, and at least you know how to produce. It's not like you're over here fumbling the ball. It sounds like everything's pretty well dialed in terms of mixing and mastering too. So I would say that's a good job too. I don't know if you're looking for your sound, your voice, your uniqueness, but keep up with this journey, bro. You're finding it.
He just said, I haven't found my genre yet. Palmyra, don't find your genre ever. Just make music, bro. Straight up.
For real.
Don't box yourself in. The coolest shit always comes from the coolest artists that I think today don't really like you try and listen to their track and you're just like, this sounds like 6 different genres at once. Like that's the dopest shit I hear nowadays. So yeah, don't fixate on a genre. Just make shit that feels true to you. I think this definitely has really good potential. And honestly, if you have 8 followers on SoundCloud, if that's your actual SoundCloud page and not like a side one, keep building the shit up and stacking those demos up. That way you can have an explosive breakthrough.
Yeah, no, 100%. It says 8 followers right here. So I think that having the pressure of nobody expecting something particular from you, nobody have any expectations from you, is pretty freeing right now. So lean into that as much as possible. Do whatever you want to do. And whatever works, man, too. I mean, you could definitely see a noticeable increase of followers if you start doing some things that are going to be unique. But as of right now, just fucking experiment. You could throw anything at the wall. And like he said, man, yeah, don't find your genre. Kind of maybe make up your own one. Maybe make up a couple different ones, So, dude, dope from Finland too. I don't know what kind of music you're inspired by over there, what kind of stuff is coming out over there, but hey, man, thank you. Shout out Finland. It's like 4:20 over there right now, almost. 10 minutes till 4:20 in Finland. All right, man. We got Trip Hazard. I seen him in the chat too. Yeah, he's right here. Let's go. Let's start off with Trip Hazard. This one looks like a brick. Big boy. Wubs on 1216, so a new one.
There's some people who think that LSD is the greatest gift to mankind since Tutti Frutti ice cream.
I don't really think so, but you get the wildest highs on acid.
What you see now is 200 micrograms of LSD.
LSD does cause psychosis in the people who don't take it.
Oh, that's real good.
Impossible.
Freaking out, man.
DJ, give me that.
While it would be very difficult to find people to tell you how good for you heroin is, or speed, or barbiturates, it's very easy to find people who just can't wait to tell you how great LSD, peyote, DMT, SBP, mescaline, and of course marijuana is.
The only time I think I've been able to understand myself was on an acid trip. Then things were really clear. On an acid trip.
You are freaking out, man.
This simulation has concluded. Thank you for participating.
Damn, what is that? That sounds like a Disney ride or something.
That sounds like if I was tripping on acid and I really had to go pee at a porta potty, and I had to go there by myself, and it was really late at night, but I could still feel the sub from the RV stages in the distance.
You're having hallucinations of like your past self, like a little kid was saying, "I only know myself when I went on an acid trip or some shit." That tripped me out. I was like, "Where did you get that sample from, my man?" Crazy. I think the sound design on that was perfect, and the mastering was great too. Those kicks,
Yeah, that sounded clean.
Oof, yeah, the kicks were super clean, dude, and the wobble and use of vocals were awesome, dude. It was I love how many different vocals you used just to kind of use the same theme. You know, it was clearly about LSD. All the fucking samples were like that, and you know, it's definitely got its place too. You know, I think the lighthearted samples are definitely a pretty big part of the scene, and fit nicely in not taking itself too seriously too. You know, you talk about LSD, you got all these crazy samples. I think that was Super Troopers in there, so I like the lightheartedness too. So yeah, what from a label's perspective, what do you guys think about like samples and stuff like that? Do you guys try to have stuff that you could clear easily, or you guys not really care in terms of how serious it takes itself, maybe, or what? No Alan Watts samples.
It varies. I mean, like some labels really have that money to like have like lawyers and like have people like really look over every detail of a song. Like Wakan, really quick for an example, like they ask for receipts for every single sound you use.
No way.
Every kick, every hi-hat, you got to prove where it came from and if you have the clearance to use that.
What?
Otherwise they say no. So just so you know, if you're going to submit a track to Wakan, anyone that's watching this, be prepared to have those receipts ready. You can't just have a whole project file. Otherwise, you're going to have to swap out sounds in that song. So,
Wow.
So I think this track, really, like, I could honestly hear how much fun you had with the lead. That was really nice to see. I feel like the audience as well, like, it'd be very, like, it really has like a nice place and home when it comes to like a lot of the people in like the experimental side when it comes to like Spicy Boys, for example, too.
Ooh.
Like this track would find a very, very nice home with people in that particular audience. Yeah, the track was super clean from a label perspective too. I feel like you have a certain sound going here. Honestly, this sounds like something that would belong not as a single, but I feel like it would be very well packaged if it was part of a larger project like an EP. Like it would sound nicely if it was released with like another song or two to accompany it, to almost amplify its sounds by pairing it with a different track. So
Oh shit, yeah, no, that's a good point too. I say that sometimes with songs too, especially stuff like from Sensora or more of like a journey type of a song. Like this would go perfect on like an album or that's very important too. A setting for releasing a tune. Like putting out a single, putting out a fucking EP, and what should be on an album too. It's almost like that's almost just as important as the music itself is the way you present it too. If it's a project, if it's got visual representation, how much hype, I guess obviously, that's the big thing. But
there's
yeah.
so many tracks like this where it's just like I've met so many artists in my time already doing this, where it's just like they send me a track, it sounds fire, but then I tell them, I'm like, yo, like this sounds fire, but like this also sounds like it's part of a bigger project like an EP. And then like fast forward like 4 months, they're like, yo, I made an EP just because you said that. And the tracks in there, and the EP is like all gas, no breaks, and like they get it signed by some other label. I'm like, yo, good shit.
Perfect, yo. Yeah,
So-
that is super important. Sometimes I've just finished a song and I'm like, you know what, I just want to release this or just do this, and then you forget about the prep work, the fucking pre-marketing and all that, the releases on Spotify, 2 weeks, you don't want to just put it out on SoundCloud and then it not be on Spotify until 2 weeks later. That's like 75 to 80% of your listening base right there is gone, or some weird statistic like that. In the first week, the first 3 days or something, that should be 75%. At least unless there's some sort of anomaly, Like I think Lizzo's track blew up like two years later or some shit. I mean, it happens, but
happens so many times. That Sheck West song also comes to mind too.
True. Oh shit, that was an oldie.
That was like a year old after it blew up.
Oh shit. Damn. Yeah, no, like my Hit the Fan track is got more love this year than it has like in a while too. I mean, it wasn't like viral, but I noticed it getting like 7,000 plays, or I'm like, what the fuck? Nothing else I have put out is still doing that. So
It's crazy how that can happen, because literally you could release music and be just disappointed the first year or two you drops, and then all of a sudden a platform like TikTok comes along.
True.
Some kid finds your track in someone's little playlist, they put it on their TikTok, and all of a sudden your track is getting like so many more plays. That's something that I also heard too with like Joey Myers as well. He was giving me some stats regarding TikTok, and I was just like, as corny as that platform might sound to people, bro, it's like bass music's popping off on there right now. If you're not on that platform, I highly suggest you thinking about using that platform here. I'm gonna hop on it soon to do it, but it's like realistically, it's like people's numbers, like when they go like even like a decently successful, like not even like a viral video on TikTok, like the video could have like maybe like 50,000 plays, which on that platform is not a lot. Your plays jumps up by several tens of thousands based off of that one video. So use that platform if you want to grow. Ultimately, the last comment I had on this track, I mean, Trip Hazard, this song's dope. As we kind of just said, we would consider it as part of like a larger project. I would sit on this a little more. I think the track is done, but I would kind of let it marinate and see what else you come up with on other releases, and see if you can kind of fit the puzzles together. If you can create something with it where it fits on a bigger project, cool, it'll sound better. Almost like I said, it'll amplify it. If not, then you'll have your answer. Then it'll be nice as a single release or something like that. But yeah, this song is great. Good shit on this, man.
yeah, man, seriously dope. And that TikTok kind of shit was priceless too, because I'm sure you've seen it with MLG too, when fucking games would be on somebody, or a song would be on somebody's, Call of Duty montage or something, those things would pop off too. And it's weird how it's like it all benefits from each other. You never know what's going to pop off your thing.
That's how G-Eazy, Mac Miller, that's how all the white rappers basically blew up. They just Call of Duty montages. I swear to God. Yeah, it's crazy because like I would grow up making those montages myself for people, or like we would make montage edited stuff on our YouTube channel, and it's like it would get several thousands of plays, but like, we would be using Mac Miller at the time, and like back then, like no one fucking knew Mac Miller like that many years ago. So
no, it's so wild. It's so wild, man. Whatever platform it is, use it to your advantage. Harness that shit. As much as cringe as I think TikTok could be, it's a tool, and it's all about how you want to use it. Like, fuck it. If my song was one of these dance challenges, I wouldn't care. But having to watch some of these dance challenges, I'm like, I can't even be on this platform, bro. It's terrible. There's like nurses and doctors just. Oh, you're 40 years old. You went through 8 years of school, and then you're fucking going. What's going on here, bro? I don't know. Some of it's fun. Some of it's fucking. It makes me be like, how did this blow up? You're lip syncing to something. Like, how did that go crazy? But it makes me know how little I understand the internet. I guess maybe that's what pisses me off. I'm like, what the fuck? This blew up. But hey, to each his own. All right. So we got some more tunes here. We got General Chow. He's got an Aspire Higher release. They're a label out of Philly. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No.
Okay, nice. Good people. But I think this is coming out in the next month or two. Second mix down, no automation. Let's hear what he's got for us.
I guess the streets did claim him. Yeah, we call him just a lost kid. Yeah, we play in a battle way, lose. All the young boys never gonna win, see. I guess the streets did claim him. Yeah, we call him just a lost kid. We play in a battle way, lose. All the young boys never gonna win, see.
Around south, all my boys we get that loud. Blunt rolls in a black pouch. Roaming back streets around south, all my boys we get that loud. Feel the vibe when they blast out. Now let me show you exactly what we all about. This is the sound that the gods will play to part the clouds. Live round on the guards are straight a man down. Ride for the night while the high is right. Flying inside, we march to the skies. Buried in the dirt with the worst and the best. Life's always simple, yet we make it complex. And this is cuisine on those you set. Retro grade, looking off the earth, hopes in the hearse. Now I'm Gucci, trust me. We ain't good over here, we ain't drugs. Now I'm Gucci, trust me. We ain't good over here, we ain't drugs. Now I'm Gucci, trust me. We ain't good over here, we ain't drugs. We ain't drugs. First time I'm proud of my surface. Couple people me dirty, but I'm clean. Ain't even mad if karma is a beam. We all do bad things when it comes back and bites us hard. Just know I speak no loose word. Comes back and bites hard. It's hard. It's far away. Look, I step. It's far away.
Oof, Dr. G. All right, man. Some steez, some capital steez in that one. I liked it. I liked how it switched up, dude. It was very it kept you kind of on your toes, you know. It's got it stayed with the same vibe throughout most of the tune, but it definitely kept evolving. You know, it didn't get stagnant. And the mix and master on that was beautiful. It seems like a lot of work went into that, making it seem as fine tuned as it is. It sounds like it's almost ready for release. I don't know if it is, if it's professionally mastered or what, but I think you did a good job on. Hey, hands down on that, man. That you did no comments, no critiques there. But
the vocal work is dope.
Yeah, no, definitely dope.
Yeah. I thought, I definitely, just like Eric said, I felt like throughout the track, really often with a lot of structure that music, drops nowadays, it's like this felt really refreshing, and it was dope how you kind of kept the vocals interesting throughout from the start to finish. Even towards the end, it was just like entirely different from when it started as well. The way you kind of manipulated it, I thought it was really cool that just the entire time, like you said, it kept me kind of interested in what was coming next. It wasn't like, I'm going to hear a drop and it's going to sound like the first drop. It was very different throughout. I think those are the tracks that definitely shine the most because it's definitely just stands out.
Yeah, no, man, that was dope. It had everyone in here like enjoying it too, bro. So I think it's ready for the release. It's ready to hit people's to ears. I think whenever that thing comes out, people are gonna be hyped on it. I'll definitely share it. I'll give it some love. And yo, man, that was pretty dope, man. I like your style's been a lot of like grime too recently. I noticed you're leaning into some of the vocal, and I think that's helping. I think it's really going well with your style too in general. It balances really well with like a minimal 808 bass heavy, sub bass kind of driven song. So good shit, man. Good shit. Definitely a tune that would go well in like a rap fan's ears, a fucking EDM fan's ears, whatever, bro. So good shit. Got a couple more. We got Matheny in here, Vieira, Rohan. All right, Palmera. Let me get rid of that. Thick Boy. We got Thick Boy in here or what? I seen Matheny in here too, so I'm just making sure they're here before we start their song. All right, let's go now. Let's start this up. All right, Matheny's here. All right, good thing we started your tune. Woo! Jesus Christ. Goddamn. So the running joke over here is that this man is 16 years old, apparently.
Yeah, he sent me this track a couple months ago. It sounded much different. Joe, you leveled this shit up, bro. Good shit, man. Oof. This is fire.
That was, I love the space on it too. It wasn't just like an in your face kind of like banger. It was like it sounded almost far away at times, but still so heavy, man. So this dude, 16 years old, this is what I'm talking about. The next generation just killing it. It's ridiculous.
He's 5 feet tall.
He's 5 feet tall.
Yeah, Joe, this honestly, like Matheny, like this track was definitely just like Eric said. It had a bunch of space, a lot of depth. I really loved how much of the tension you built up. That's a lot of stuff that I really feel like a lot of artists are really good at, but they don't deliver it. So some artists don't really necessarily know how to build that really good tension. They just know how to make a good drop. You, on the other hand, created this very long, intense, really spacious, but also really texturized build up. I think that makes the drop, almost feel like it's just one whole. It feels like really like a cinematic piece almost, yeah. And it makes this really track feel really special, I think.
Yo, 100% cinematic piece. Yeah, I resonated with that fucking comment too. I loved the just some of the answers to the main bases that you had. They were like it was like a call and receive kind of thing that was going on, and just some of the background noises complemented it really well too. Some of that like orchestral vibe that was going on was dope, man. I heard that first drop and I was like, this is fire. And I saw the waveform and thought that was just going to be one long drop. And when we hit the club, so I wasn't looking at the waveform. I was fucking messing with the pyrotechnics and the lasers up there and shit. But that second drop hit me, and I was like, God damn, I think I audibly was like, yo, woo. I wasn't ready for that. I was ready for a one and done. But I'm glad you kept it going, man. It's tough to like continually up yourself too, especially when the first drop is that good. It's not like you saved something from the first drop and then just did a little bit of a change up. It was a pretty new song, and yeah, man, that's your own style. The kind of, I feel like you talking about putting multiple styles in a tune and multiple different genres in a tune is kind of makes it your own, and that's. As familiar as that was, it was pretty 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 unique. So dope stuff, man, especially from a 16-year-old. You'll go far. You got such a bright future ahead of you, dude. You never know, you might hit your growth spurt at like 22. I heard that happens. If you're 5 feet tall, you're 16, dude, you're making music like this, that it speaks for itself. You might hit your growth spurt a little bit later. You hit your musical, you're fucking, you're up there with the musical shit though. So fuck it. Don't let anybody hold you down.
Don't let Matt Fryer hold you down, man.
He wishes, bro. That's who he's picking on. 16-year-olds that are 5 feet tall. That's who Matt's picking on, bro. He got a few tattoos and thinks he's a tough guy now. He's rolling up his cigarettes in his sleeves to show off his tattoos, like an old greaser.
Called his fucking knife.
Can't wait to finish high school, bro. Oh, bro. Yo, such a bright future ahead of you, man. No, seriously, love the beats. Always love when you come and throw something in here, too. So thank you. Thank you to Electric Hawk for bringing him in here, too. The man's a legend. You guys got a great roster. It's like a little brother thing. It's like a little brother, big brother situation with Fryer and these two, I guess. But Fryer, he only picks on 16-year-olds. So, all right, we'll leave it at that. Let's see what Vieira got, too. Is he a part of your team, Vieira?
Yeah, Vieira is also a managed artist on the Electric Hawk roster.
Oh, nice, bro. New York, too. What part of New York are you from, Vieira? That's dope, man. I had no idea. I'm following him and everything. So, yeah, I had no idea. New York, shout out, man.
He said he's from Yee.
Oh, I know that town. Right next to where I grew up. All right, let's go. Let's see what.
Oh, the old days.
Hudson Valley. Oh, shit. Okay, all right. Nice, man. Deep out there. Well, cheers. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what Upstate's bringing. Oh, wait, he's another one of Mary's boys? Or who's he managed by?
This is Hunter's boys.
Okay, I was going to say, man, this guy's going to bring the ruckus. She brings a bunch of troublemakers. experience tonight, huh? Shit. Full blown experience. Shit, broski. Killer. That was dope. Definitely unique too, man. I like the build up was very like it was almost like a low mid driven, you know. There was not a lot of high end in that build up too. It was kind of just like some crazy weird things going on in that mid section. The midsection of the frequencies and midsection of the song too. Like I feel like that in between from that build from that drop to the second drop was like very like atmospheric kind of thing, man. That was dope. It's definitely unique. Definitely unique, bro. So is it oh. No, hey, you go on.
Well, you go. Nah, Rich Vieira he's sent me a fuckload of demos honestly recently. He's sitting on so much stuff. Honestly, this in contrast to everything else that he's sitting on at the moment, it's kind of just very inspiring almost. Reason being is because there is no Vieira track that sounds the same, and I think that's something very difficult that a lot of artists have trouble with. They have like this template, they make like a, you know, and like when they get into Ableton or their DAW, and like they have like this template and they make a track of like all the same sounds, and the structure can usually be the same. With Vieira, on the other hand, it's like he has so much attention to detail in every second of his song. He has such a high standard on himself. I feel like that level of being so focused on trying to make sure that each track sounds different than the last is going to make him excel very quickly once he starts rolling out music.
Yeah, no, I think that's a dope ass way to put it too. I'm not sure how many submissions he's thrown in here too, but it's definitely been over one. You know, we've heard of him before. I've obviously been following him, so I love the artwork too, man. So I don't know if it's like attention to detail, even in terms of like the artwork and how your project is being perceived too. But it's super dope, man, and definitely kind of fits the vibe of the tune, like really unique and kind of a blend of a bunch of different styles. Like it's kind of like pop surrealism and weird animated kind of style, but it's also like your music too. So I think to find a balance, I don't know if that's intentional or what, but even just looking at your SoundCloud page, I kind of notice it's got the aesthetic, you know what I mean? Like this is intentional that the background is blended with this, and you have that logo, and I like it, bro. I like that you got intention behind your music, you know, and your releases and stuff like that. So I'm excited to hear the rest of the tunes that he's talking about too, man, because this was hella interesting, and you know, I want to know what to compare it to in terms of what your sound is, what you're crafting up, and what your kind of like your skill level is almost too. It's hard to tell when things are all over the place. I think that it says a lot for itself, you know, like when people are so they're all over the place, they could do anything that they put their minds to. It says a lot more to me than having one particular style locked down. But yeah, man, is this part of a project, or is this like, what is that artwork for? A full project, or that one song in particular, or what? Because it looks like it'd be for like a commission piece, you know? It looks like it's. Oh, you gonna let us know?
Yeah, basically what he told me recently, that artwork that I use is actually the artist that he wants to go with moving forward of all his releases. That's something definitely that artists watching the stream right now should also pay attention to. Like, you should, like, we've been kind of telling him like we need to like work on like your visual brand as the VR project, and like realistically everyone should do that. Like, you should find that one artist that speaks to you and your music and reflects what you're trying to portray with your sound as accurately as possible, and stick with them. It's gonna hurt you, I think, visually if you have like a different artist with a different style for every release, because then you're not zoning in on the specific visual brand. Kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the stream about being more marketable and having a more attractive brand. If you have this unique style where this artist is exclusive to you, you're gonna look like such a badass artist compared to everyone else.
Yo, for real. That, like I said, the intent too. Like even I could pick up on that just by looking at it. I'm like, it's kind of crazy that art does speak for the music too, you know. It might be the first impression too that some people are looking for, just like how the other person was a meme of me. Palmero was just a meme of me. That kind of maybe made me go into it thinking about it a little differently. Same thing with this too. It's like got this crazy abstract piece of art, and I'm like, maybe the music is saying something that reflects this. So now I might come into it looking at it a little differently too. So that's definitely a big word of advice too, man. I've heard that too. I've gone through different artists, and I've noticed some of the artists that I've gone through have worked with bigger artists now and then have became their bigger artists. Like one of my first EPs, I think my first one was done by Kuz, and now he's straight up Boogie T's dude. Like just Boogie T and Drama Club Records is all done by Kuz. And I'm like, shit, man, I definitely should have. I had a lot of different artist friends, and they all brought different things to the table, so I kind of utilized that. But I think one cohesive artist is definitely a move too, man. So Vieira, good shit, bro. If that's who you're thinking about going forward, or even if you're trying new things, but just moving forward with that in mind, that's dope as fuck. So is that an EP, or is that just gonna be a single?
I don't know. He just sent me that track. He sent me like a playlist of all his music that he's been working on for the last couple months, and that was part of it. That was like the second track in the playlist. And he hasn't told me anything about an EP. But
okay,
honestly, that sounds dope enough to be released by itself as an original, honestly.
Oh yeah, he said just a single for next month. All right, bro, perfect. Yeah, no, dope. The artwork has like the single name on it too, so that's why I was like, maybe it's not an EP. But that commissioned artwork for one song, oof, you know people are serious then, you know? If it looks that good, like something that would be like in some museum or something, and for one song, bro, nice. Big ups, bro. Definitely. All right, so we got Rohan Solo coming up next, man. He's always coming through with the heat, too. Let's see what he's got for us today.
Making money every day. Yeah.
Says the description of that too. I had to double check that. It says Taboo helped me sound design some of these basses via Zoom. Started and written today by yours truly. Tuesday 12/22. So yesterday, I guess 24 hours from today, he's had to work on this one. Big ups on that. Big ups on that achievement alone. I think that's I got to go into it with that in mind. Just first and foremost, like it's a day old and it sounds like that, bro. It's pretty finished, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty fucking fine-tuned, and like your last submission too, it was very call and responsey too. Like the bass would end off, they'd start a new one, and then the bass would come back in, like almost finishing off the rest of the conversation too. So it wasn't like you just added a bunch of random sounds in there. Your sound design and I want to say music theory, if that makes sense, is you know, is true and tested, tried and tested, whatever it is. Yeah, it's been every week you come in here with something that sounds really good and progressive and sound designy. So dope shit, man. That was you got my thumbs up, dude. The mix looks good too. But,
kind of bouncing off what you said, yeah, this track really sounded like a lot of fun. It's really impressive you made this just yesterday too. I think definitely I've heard your stuff before that you sent in for like press inquiries, and like, yeah, this is definitely like a very, very fresh contrast in comparison to like other stuff you sent, which is a lot more groovy. It's nice to have that diversity. Keep honing in on this. Honestly, everyone loves having an artist that they don't like, following an artist that they don't know what to expect from next. Like, it's honestly really dope to have this kind of like in the belter. Honestly, like, yeah, this is finish the shit up. Honestly, like, keep this one in your fucking arsenal. Or I guess fuck, what is that word I'm trying to look for? Arsenary? Arsenal.
Yeah, you had it. You had it.
And yeah, I thought even like towards that last half too, like kind of like similar to that Matheny track, I felt like that drop kept the entire song interesting. It felt like a whole new different song to me. So good shit on that, man.
Definitely. Yeah, that second drop, it definitely kept me hyped too on the tune. It made me not have to really dig deep and be like, what do I either critique or comment on this tune about? It was a nice, easy way to just kind of flex your production skills, your music theory skills, your sound design skills. So yeah, man, I think it's dope. Keep up with your production like this. Every week you're coming in with something that you made the day before or the day of. So I think that's super impressive that they sound like this with only a day's worth of work, man. So I want to hear these things that are being sent out for the press releases too, the ones that are finished, mastered, mixed, and all this stuff. But I'm happy with these. I'm happy with these whips, bro. Keep them coming, dog. I'm sorry I don't have like actual production advice from it. It just sounds really good, you know? I think everything was mixed and mastered pretty well too. So, hey, it's good on my end.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to give actual production advice. I personally, like, just because I know some artists often come into these demo streams to like get like positive feedback, like just validation almost, and like that's dope. Some artists kind of send their tunes and they like want to hear like your hi-hat sounds slightly off, fix that shit. Yeah. It sounds like trash. Like, cool. I won't be able to provide that, but at least I feel like from my point of view is more so of a consumer and label perspective too, which is, I guess that's the point of this too. So I mean, yeah, I mean, this track is definitely like, when it comes to like label perspectives, I know hella labels that would accept this, just FYI.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, no, and that's why we got you on here too, man. We've had like 30, 40 episodes of people, reoccurring producers too. So, you know, we've there's only so much of the hi-hat and frequency information they could take. I think just taste sometimes is good too. It doesn't always have to be like the technicality. It's like vibe and the way it makes you feel is what's important too. And sometimes having that consumer, I mean, you're way different than a consumer. You're way more than a consumer, but just having that perspective is a lot of is a lot to take in terms. You don't always just want the musician's point of view, the musician's perspective, because they're always going to make you work for it. You know, they're always going to be like not impressed almost, you know, but that's not who's paying the bills at the end of the day, you know.
True.
You don't, the producers don't pay other producers' bills. It's the fucking fans, you know. It's, you know, same thing with comedy. They never, you don't want to be the comedian's, you don't want to be the comedian's comedian, you know. It's kind of like it's a double entendre. You want to impress these people, but also at the same time, they don't got the same taste as the general consumer. So having your perspective is it's very fresh in, you know, short terms. I way more words than needed for that one. But yeah, bro, it's appreciated here. All right, so we got Smokestacks coming up next. Talk about another heater coming up. All right, let's see what he's got. Oh shit, we going to the hot box with this one, bro? I might. Do I have to join the hot box for this one? Blonde tip, I skipped you. I'm sorry. Hold up.
Boys talking.
Started in the hot box.
Let's
ended
go.
in the
We're in the jacuzzi now. All right.
Yo, Smokestacks. All right, man. Definitely a little bit less of the mix that you've been putting in recently. Like every time you've been putting in one recently, I've been like, bro, that's a Smokestacks back-to-back research chemicals, which I don't know if you're familiar with Smokestacks, but he's got 2 different projects. One's a little bit more like sample-based hip-hop, which is research chemicals, and then Smokestacks is like this kind of vibe. And then recently, every submission, he's just been like combining the two. And this one was more of like the OG Smokestacks that I grew up on almost, you know? But welcome either way. I liked it. I dug it.
We had Smokestacks. Your shit's been dope. I remember maybe like more than a year ago, I did an underground episode of Electric Rock Radio, and it was like I was only trying to use music of like artists with like less than like 2,000, 3,000 artists or followers, and I'm pretty sure I used one of your songs. 100% sure.
Shit.
Yeah, I did.
Yo, hell
like,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
He produces like a motherfucker too. This man is prolific, like crazy, dude. It's insane.
I felt like I know for a fact is he? You're like Spicy Boy's crew, isn't he?
I think he's affiliated. He's got his name all over, at least a collab or two with everybody, you know.
That's good. Yeah, I thought the track was cool. I felt like there could have been a little bit more variation personally, but I also then again I kind of take a step back and try and see like, okay, what was the goal in mind for creating this song now? And it felt like honestly it could be serve a really good piece during a live set or something like that, where it serves as just a nice kind of bridge to it serves as a nice bridge. I feel like I don't know if that makes sense or not. So I think depending on what your purpose was with the track, I feel like you might have hit the hammer on the nail if you were trying to be consistent with that very sound system culture type of song where it was very I guess like, yeah, that sound design kind of base, but also very simple at the same time, but fresh. Yeah. I think you kind of landed the mark on there. So
yeah, that's what I meant by Smokestacks, like the OG kind of Smokestacks that I first got into him with. It was more minimalistic towards like the bass kind of stuff, and then when he started doing the Smokestacks, it was really fresh and inspiring too. And then recently it was like a combination of the two. So it's pretty much like exactly what you're saying too. Is you took more of the route that I've seen you take a little bit too, you know. So I don't know if it's just because this one is from 5 hours ago or what. Like this could have been just one of the 3 beats that you made today, you know. So of course it could put in some more work, but yeah, maybe if you were to go back and change it, I would say maybe just a little variation with the bass too, you know, maybe some LFO rates or something like that, but just a little shit. I think you got whatever's there too. I think you hit the nail on the head. The sound design was dope, but yeah, maybe just a little bit more of a switch up too, towards the end of the drop. You know, keep it a little fresh and whatnot. But hey, man, that's like he said. It's all about intention and what you meant to feel with the track, what you meant to accomplish with the track. So, you know, I'm a fan of you. But we got who did I skip? I skipped somebody. There we go. Okay, here we go. Nice, man. That was dope, bro. Fun one. Where is it? I got a different one loaded up. Hold on, where is this one? Bada bing, bada boom, bass Bronco. There you go. Dope stuff, my man.
I felt like this track definitely. I felt like a lot of like Kursa, Seppa, Tipper kind of inspirations behind this. Personally, I felt like not as, I guess, hooked in or interested during the first section, or when those kind of that drum pattern kind of kicked in at the very beginning. I felt very confused almost. It felt like, I don't know if you meant to have kind of the drums off beat on purpose or not, but that felt very confusing. Through the last half of the song, though, my interest was caught again, and I did like a lot of the funky switch ups that you did. Personally, I would kind of like, just my like, from a label's perspective, the first impression does matter a lot. So I think, although the last half of your song was my favorite, it's really important that the first half of your song is just as strong as the second, because generally most listeners are going to listen to that and be like, this is weird, and then kind of skip it over if it's not as cool as the last half. I think that's those are my kind of thoughts on that. Overall, like, you have a good idea here. Definitely there's people out there who would fucking love this track a lot. I know a lot of the, like, that whole Slug Wife gang would like throw this shit in their sets no problem if it's like cleaned up a little bit, tuned in more. Definitely, I think you should look over that first section and really try a way to get the listener to follow all the way through to the end, though.
Yeah, no, that was some pretty solid advice too, you know, because the second half is dope as it is sometimes when you have the best second half in the world. Like, that first half is pretty much what's gonna make or break people on if it even gets to the second half. Because I mean, with the retention rate on people is ridiculous, dude. It's like, even, it's on SoundCloud. I even fall victim of it. Sometimes I have to physically stop myself. From fucking even live, like right now we're supposed to be listening to people's tracks, and I'm almost going like right to like this area just because like that's just muscle memory right now. I almost just listen to something like that to even see if I'm gonna retroactively give the intro a try, you know. So it's even my own fault. It's a fault of my own. I don't know if you guys do it with when you listen to music too, or I don't know if you do it as a label manager, or you have to kind of critique every second of it. But just, I guess, being aware that it's like just kind of the consumer's attention span that we're battling with, as well as the other artists in the playlists and stuff like that, and the algorithms. It's like people's fucking attention spans we got to look into now too. So, I mean, crazy stuff, dude. But I liked it the full way through. I definitely agree with him too, where it kind of picked up and got a little bit more clean in the second half, where it gave you something to vibe with. It was more of like you could dance to it, especially with that high synth, that like ding 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 ding. You were like, oh, okay, all right. It's got a little like music theory in it, orchestra in it. You know, it's got a little bit more than just some sound design. I like that. You know, I like that combination of the two. But okay, yo, this guy, he's been with us for 2.5 hours. He told me he had a meeting in 2 hours, so I think he's pushing somebody back. Somebody's getting bumped because we're in the meet and greet. There's literally like 40 fucking submissions, and if we keep going, there's gonna just be more submissions and more submissions. That's just how it is, dude. I had so many of these open too. The Spun one, Brassels, Stupid Fried, Optic, Grayscale, Ashaw, Jack Lion, Cyflow. But Kodiak Beats, we got a special request. This man, he's a big time follower of Electric Hawk, so I think we're gonna send it off with Kodiak. If y'all want to stick around, we might do a couple more beats and just hang out and shit. But we got to send our mans on the way. He's bestowed knowledge on us, bestowed perspective on us, bestowed his life story on us. So we're gonna listen to one more with him and then decide where we go. If y'all are with it, stick around. If I apologize for anybody who has been here looking to get their music heard, but yo, I hope you got some wisdom from the man. This dude he had shit to spit today, so you know it's definitely not going to be the last time you hear from Electric Hawk. We might have another episode. Who the fuck knows? All right, but let's see what Kodiak Beats got, and check it out. Damn. Kodiak. Okay, man. Vibes, bro. I loved the use of like the heavy 808s in there too. Like right when it first started kicking, I thought I caught the vibe. I brought us to the jacuzzi and the smoke box, but then it started kicking. I'm like, oh, I like that heavy 808 saturated kind of sitting under the mix. It's not the focal point of the whole thing. You did a really good job of like spatial effects. You know, there was a couple things going on at one particular time, and all of them sounded in different places in the mix. And that's usually hard to do, you know. It either sounds way too crowded or just like too much. And I think you did it was tasteful the way you did it. If you want some advice, I would say the one thing that comes to mind would be the 3 or 4 different kind of like drum loops that come in at one time. Not at one time, but like progressively. There's like a couple different, it goes through a couple different phases, and I don't not like that. I like the shit out of it, but maybe just pick like 1 or 2 so that people could like, after it hits them for the first time, they might be able to guess what's coming the next time. Because then I started trying to like guess what's coming and trying to get into the groove, and I almost got thrown off because there was like another totally different vibe. Like one was 4x4, and then the other one was like halftime of that, and then the next time, like I like the switch up too. But maybe something that Kyoto said when he was in the meet and greet one time was that if you have like the swing drums, try to find like as small of a loop of a good swing drum, just so that you could get back to that original loop, so that people could kind of find a groove. Like necessarily things don't have to fall on the 1 and the 3 or the 1 and the 4, whatever you're doing, but you could have some swinging groove in there too. But the quicker it gets back to like an original kind of beat, I think it helps people just find a groove to it. So sorry to get off on a tangent. I don't know. That's just something that I've mentioned a couple times since Kyoto said that, and he's really good at swing drums. That's why I mention it all the time, is because he's great at having like a little groove to it. It's sounding organic and real, and you do that really well with your instruments. So maybe having like 3 or 4 different kind of drum patterns might throw people off on their groove. But it's giving you rough times with the mix down, you're saying too. So hey man, you know, sometimes you want to just challenge yourself with that kind of thing too. So like my man's was saying, it's all about intent, and if you're happy with it, I'm fucking happy with it. I liked it, but that's just something that I've been passing on to people because when I heard it, it resonated real heavy with me. But hey, man, do you wanna add on anything? This is your homie. I hope
Yeah,
that didn't come off as like
no, that was
critique or
great.
anything. But
You're right. I mean, first off, Kodiak. Like reason why I kind of like wanted to express that, like I wanted to listen to this track in particular too. Definitely was because this kid's like always sending stuff, but he's always super nice about it. It's kind of like how earlier I was talking about, like he works up to that first impression. Dude's always interacting with us on social media, to the point where it's like when I get emails from him, like, "Hey, I sent a demo. Sure, we haven't accepted one yet, but like I make it a priority to listen to this kid's music because he's so awesome on the internet." So it's like that's a good example. I want to bring that up again for everyone. But listening to this track, I really got kind of like that really like glitch hop experimental like hip hop vibes that like Supertask or like Charles the First kind of does. I think this track doesn't sound finished, but I see a lot of potential in this. The way I see the potential in this is because um, besides like the drum working that you need to do, like Eric was just saying, I think that there's room to get weirder in places where you did get weird. You can crank that shit up even more. By that, I mean like there is like something that's been stuck in my head for years that G Jones tweeted out one time. And like honestly, I feel like it is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever seen for any kind of artist. And it's like literally he said he keeps a sticky note next to his desk. All it says is make something cool here. That's all it says. And it's a reminder when he's working on a track, it's if he feels like he's getting stuck somewhere or anything like that, and it feels like very constant or stiff or it's plateauing, like the energy, he just like takes that structure of like a few seconds and just cranks that shit up. The sound design, the structure, whatever, to the point where that specific 5 seconds, that moment in that song is incredibly memorable. That's what he does. I think you have tons of room to do that here. There's so much space for you to be like, yo, I'm gonna make this like these like these synths, these bass synths like go extra fucking crazy. Like you have that room to like still have that jazzy lo-fi vibe and then suddenly bring in like just this crazy sound design and just be really fun and experimental halfway through. And then if you do that, at the end result, you're going to have a really fun track that is a really interesting listen from start to finish. So I think you should keep that in mind with the drums and with the overall structure. I think you have something there. Keep working at it. There is definitely something here. So
yeah, well, that's crazy advice too, man. Even with the G Jones stuff. See, I mentioned him in the beginning of the interview and just being a good guy and taking the W and being like proud to see some good guys win. And you're doing the same thing. Just take a note from him, even in the production sense. You're kind of applying that to your own projects and passing that on to people too, man. So that's some dope shit. And exactly like what he said too, dude. If this is cool, if this is you're super happy with this and how cool this came out, which I think it was a cool fucking song. And with that being said, maybe I would take the technical side of the things back too, because I don't know, sometimes I get worried about am I making it too robotic? Because sometimes it's just got to come from the heart too. And if this is cool to you, bro, then keep whatever it is. But just what came to mind in my sense was like maybe it just needs a little bit more groovability, or like what he said, like total ripping it apart and make it a whole new like section almost. You know what I mean? Maybe it could go on for even longer than it was. Maybe that's why I didn't connect with it, because it just it was fleeting. It was here and gone too. So you have the room to fuck around with it like crazy. I loved what was in it already. I loved the vibe, the build up, and the end too, man. So it was just some weird technicality thing that I'm only saying because I heard somebody else say too. So hey, man, if it's cool to you, it's cool to me too, bro. But yeah, it's in that last part, it was hard to find a groove. I did all the way up to that, but when it started switching the quantization, I would say, or the drum pattern, it kind of had me guessing where we're going next. But hey, that's cool too. But yeah, man, where could we look out for Electric Hawk? What is your guys' next move? Where should we be looking out for you guys? Where can they send demos to? And like, what do you want to leave off on? You've given us so much gold.
We take demos to demos@theelectrichawk.com. If you want to send stuff there, it goes to Nor, Mary, and I. And then after that, we send it to a team of people that we select, either artists or music curators on our team. And we like all take turns listening to it and provide our own feedback. just so you know how the air process goes with us. And we made it a rule now. Like we let everyone know, like we're gonna let you know if we accept it or not. We don't want to be a label that like is just gonna be ghosting you for months. So
Yeah.
you should expect a response from us if you send us stuff. If you're interested in press stuff, send it to press at the Electric Hawk, and you can send it to our writing team. In regards to what we're doing next with Electric Hawk, we have, again, it's a lot of this stuff we're operating in secrecy, but like we had something really huge coming next month. So I'm very excited. We've been putting several months of work into this. It feels like it's just like a really big testament and follow-up to like our most ambitious projects, like whether it's Harmony Ritual Festival, In Harmony album, like it feels like we're topping that. So I'm excited. Just keep an eye out. I guarantee we are going to be causing a fucking ruckus on social media in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to start off next month with a fucking bang.
Nice. So is it at the Electric Hawk for all your social medias too, or is it anything in particular?
Yeah,
is it a bunch of different things?
At Electric_Hawk for socials.
Underscore Hawk. Okay, I think this should be everything with the links. You know, I usually have these things ready, but demos, we got the press, and then you know all their tags too, man. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on these dudes and ladies, these dudes and dudettes. You know, he's got a team of very intelligent people. Gender, not important. You know, regardless, they're killing it. You're gonna hear more from them, and seriously, dude, you bestowed some knowledge on us. I hope y'all got some info about the label side of things, the grind that this guy is on, and new fans of Electric Hawk too. I hope you got some new homies from Electric Hawk in here too. So yeah, I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and appreciate everyone watching. That was really nice to really talk about everything. It's really refreshing to be able to just have a platform to, I guess, vent all that knowledge, because I got to stay fresh on this shit too. So it's cool.
Yeah. Hey man, well we're gonna enjoy the ride, dude. So I'm glad we're getting on. I guess in the 2 years, you know. I've been a fan of you for 4 years, just to let you know though. I've been following you guys for about 8 years now. You know, I've been a fan. So remember that when you guys blow up, I've been a fan 10 years, 22 years. I've been a fan now. So
before I was born.
Yo, man, seriously, I appreciate you. I appreciate the knowledge and your time, dude, more than anything. So thank you. We look forward to seeing more of you guys.
Hell yeah.
All
Thanks,
right.
man. I appreciate it.
Hey, of course, man. Be well, and we'll talk soon.